guys, welcome back to the Kit and Krysta Podcast, episode...
It don't matter.
Please. Oh,
That's
you said it mattered.
You've got to stop saying this.
17.
It's tired.
Maybe we should only do it every, 10
milestone?
increments
Yeah.
or something.
Good.
All right, so we won't do it until episode 20, which is in 3 episodes.
We just got to get... This is a busy week. This week is really intense for us.
We need to, we need to really focus.
Right.
Last week was surprisingly intense also.
Right.
And I didn't mentally prepare for it very well. I thought that... Well, first of all, we did a couple of reaction videos, which were really, really fun to do. But those are always the ones where you're like, we need to get them out as soon as possible or else no one's going to care about it anymore. And one of the ones, the Pokemon reaction video that we did that's live on our YouTube channel now, we weren't even going to do something with that one.
No.
And then I woke up in the morning and was like, what's going on? Why is there 100 and plus tweets and crazy stuff happening?
Right.
And then we realized it's because you're in the game.
Well, you too.
But mainly.
I guess that's the danger of sleeping in until 11 a.m. on a weekday.
It was 7:45.
It was a little late, I gotta say.
No, it wasn't.
Oh my gosh, what's going on?
No, it was 7:45 because we recorded the reaction video 8:30.
All right.
It wasn't 6. It wasn't 6 a.m. No.
No, it was we had a holiday. It was Memorial Day.
Yeah.
That always happens. Everything gets compacted into a short week.
4-day week.
But now we're experiencing, again, something we did not experience when we were at Nintendo, which is these things will just drop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So we're on Nintendo Direct Watch this week.
We
got a lot about
alert.
that. More to come on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this trailer, at least we got some notice about this trailer.
Yeah.
That came out. The state of play we knew about. There's some things we know about, but there's some things just coming out of nowhere that you gotta be ready to go.
React at the drop of a dime.
Right.
Which is harder than it looks. So good job to all the people.
People who are deep in the ocean in a submarine were on high alert.
I was in the middle of the
torpedoes
ocean
ready
on Monday.
So
remember, I was fishing in the ocean, and so if there was some sort of trailer, what was I supposed to do?
Not on a holiday. Not on a holiday.
Oh, that would have been. That's a danger zone.
Have to chop her back. To headquarters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have to get airlifted in to the content mines, back into the mines. But yeah, we had quite the busy week.
So we did a reaction for Pokemon. We did the reaction for the State of Play.
That one was really fun. It was our first, I think, non-Nintendo reaction. I actually loved it. That was so cool. More to come for those because we have the Xbox Showcase coming up.
Right. Got Summer Game Fest.
Coming up. So that's going to be this week's itinerary.
Right.
But the Pokemon reaction and the State of Play reaction are both live on our YouTube channel. So if you have not seen it, check it out. If you want to watch those along with us, take a look because they're really fun. We also, as if the week could not get busy enough, we also posted a new episode of the Kit and Krysta Show.
Sure did.
Which was, we're kind of going back to our old habits of doing funny and interesting challenges in Breath of the Wild. So this time we did a paraglider challenge.
Right.
There's some unfortunate pictures of you on the internet now.
Read the comments.
Because of your...
You don't read the comments like I do.
Performance in that video. Your DMs are blowing up.
The funny thing is
DMs? Someone's sliding in or what?
The funny thing is this is actually not the first time I've done a photo shoot with that Zelda kimono.
The other time was from just you wanted to do it.
No, we did it on Nintendo Minute. It was here are these hot because it was box lunch Zelda collection, and I drew the short straw to do something with that.
It's black milk, by the way, not box lunch.
Excuse me. How dare I?
How dare you?
I guess I don't need to worry about that anymore. I mean, I would have been,
yeah.
I would have been taken to task for saying that before.
I know.
Now, I don't care.
So yeah, anyways, that happened yesterday.
Who knows how many more photo shoots I'll do with this?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'll just show up to the podcast one day looking like that.
You should.
Maybe I will.
Do it.
Great.
It's
like a game of chicken right now.
I look forward to it. I don't care what you wear to the podcast. It's not me sitting in that chair.
I'm getting enough weird looks on this street already as it is.
That's true. You got a dirty look on the way in.
It's I'm just getting out of the car, and I get the stink eye from some guy walking down the street.
Like I said, you have a punchable face.
What is the deal? I'm not up to no good. I'm literally getting out of my car. which is a Prius, okay?
You look snotty getting out of your car.
I look snotty.
You look like you're full of yourself.
Well, then let's have a rumble in this street. Let's go.
These people are like 80 years old.
Then let's go.
They don't have the energy
it up.
to duel with you. They just want to give you dirty looks and tell you
We're going to throw down in the street. I'm a proponent of street justice, you see?
Part of the danger profile.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
You've been trying to propone.
Street justice.
Okay. All right. Anyways, moving on to actual things.
Well, what are we moving on to?
Well, we're going to be at Summer Game Fest.
Okay, yes. Yeah, you were talking about the packed week, and then you moved on. I thought you might have forgotten.
No.
It gets more packed.
It gets more packed.
No, we are going
on the road
to Los Angeles.
Yes. It's our first trip.
As part of the Summer Game Fest extravaganza,
yes.
Jeff Keighley, our good close friend.
Thank you for inviting us.
# friend of the show. Invited us to this great event to play some games.
Excited.
So we're going to that. We're going to play some games.
We were talking about it. We're like, this could be like the fun parts of E3 without the awful hour work parts of E3.
Because there are a lot of nice parts of E3, and it's like, well, we're going to be in LA kind of around that same time.
Yep, we're going to get to see some of our old friends that are also going to be there.
Yeah. Can't say yet.
No, we're not going to say
what we're doing or seeing.
Right.
But soon enough, you will hear from us about that.
Yeah, we're going to vlog it, so you guys will get a front row seat to what we get up to in LA, and hopefully, we can show you more, because before when we were vlogging stuff, at Nintendo, we were kind of limited on what we could show you guys, but not anymore. No more. The curtain is wide open, people.
I mean, hopefully these companies let us.
Yeah, but there's other things you can vlog too.
Okay.
The full experience is coming your way, people. It's gonna be great.
That's right. This is my first time on an airplane in over 2 years.
I know.
Since this pandemic. You
are going to get duct tape.
Every day I ask you, how do you get on an airplane? What do I need to do?
Every day for the last 2 weeks, you're
I'm legit stressed about this.
Do you think this is okay?
Yeah.
Do you think that this frequent travel thing is still available?
Oh, that's long gone.
Can you please,
The security line, I need to mentally prepare for the security line.
You still have your TSA.
I know, but it's what do I do? What do I take out? What do I leave? Shoes on, off? I don't know. I'm going to be a mess. You need to stick close to me, all right?
Get there early if you're going to have to, you're going to bumble your way through this. I, unlike you, have been on many
good for you.
trips, so I'm great. I can be your expert guide.
That's what I'm at. That's all I'm asking. That's all, okay?
I have to sit next to you.
That's
I need to not embarrass me and get I do have status.
I'm going to spill my drink on you.
I know! What the hell? Well, we'll vlog it, and you can see him bumbling. Actually, you can't film that part because they won't let you, but we will be.
Do not film the security line. No, that'll be a bad start to our trip.
Bad start.
I get detained.
If you spill a drink on me, I will vlog it, and I will vlog me yelling at you for spilling a drink on me. Okay, so that's gonna be really fun. That's later to come.
Well, that'll be the Kit and Krysta show for next week.
That's right.
This week, though.
Oh yeah.
We got the big Nintendo Direct predictions.
This week
because again,
yes, we're going to be predicting.
It is afoot.
A lot of stuff. Right. And then on the Kit and Krysta show, we're doing top 10 Nintendo Direct moments.
That's right.
So it's going to be a Nintendo Direct heavy thematic.
Yeah.
And then of course we're going to, watch all of these great showcases. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yes, top 10 Nintendo Direct moments on the Kit and Krysta show. It was wild to go back through these.
Yeah.
I spent a couple years working much too hard on Nintendo Direct.
You did.
I got dropped into that. Kind of out of nowhere.
Will.
It was you can figure this out. Figure out this Nintendo Direct
thing. And those were the hardest times because it was so early in the germination of Nintendo Direct. There was no rule book.
It was after the first one, which was kind of a slapdash production because nobody knew what this was.
No one knew what they were doing.
And it was all right. I got a phone call from my boss who was in Europe for a big global planning meeting.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, you're going to be in charge of this and there's another one coming up and it needs to be big and you just need to figure it out.
Yeah, and that was it.
Click.
Yeah.
What? Huh?
You basically had to start from zero. And then once you were able to hand it off, it was in it had like a formula.
Right.
So although it was still really difficult for those teams
and it continued to change, but
produce, like at least there was some sort of precedent, Yeah,
I was like, oh, I remember this, or writing this script, or I put myself in one of them just for fun. We needed somebody to do it. I was like, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, why not? Your narcissistic ways were early days.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be going through some of those top 10 moments on the Kit and Krysta show, but today on the podcast, a little different. Instead of a Nintendo Storytime and our Never a Minute segment, we're going to dedicate that whole chunk of time to Nintendo Direct predictions.
Right. We need the time.
We think there's going to be a lot. We need the time, and we really want to dig into this. Yes. And I think you guys are probably as curious as we are about what is happening.
Going on.
It's very quiet over there at Nintendo as we start to see lots of announcements from Sony and Xbox and the Summer Game Fest stuff. There's a lot of conversation, but it's very notable that Nintendo's been very absent from all of this chatter. Yeah. So we're gonna.
Well, should we just jump into the segment?
We're gonna jump into it.
Is there anything else we need to talk about at the top here?
No, we surely do not.
All right. So we both have predictions.
We have predictions.
A lot of predictions, we should say. We kind of chunked it into some little topics here.
Yeah.
And I know we both had timing.
I think that's definitely the first one we should talk about. Because
so let's start there.
Everyone's curious about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Timing is a big one. So if we were looking at E3, I'm like literally.
Well, let's say so. Today is what, Monday.
Today's June 6th.
As we are recording this. Right. No announcement. Nothing on the calendar.
Nothing.
But we are deep in this, kind of Summer Game Fest window.
Yes.
Which kind of goes through all of the Xbox announcements, which are on Sunday.
Sunday, the 12th.
Like, it sounds like they also have kind of like an expanded thing on Monday.
They have also. It's on Tuesday, actually.
Oh, it's Tuesday.
Yeah,
I saw that this morning.
They have an expanded sort of more trailers and in-depth interviews with developers. Right. Another 90 minutes, they said.
Right.
And we were just talking about how long Xbox stuff usually is. So having to hear that they had to break it up into two things is like a little worrying, but
So we know Nintendo is not part of Summer Game Fest.
No, again, they are notably absent.
Has not been for several years for reasons. They have their reasons.
Yes,
but I think they will not want to get caught up in this window.
Oh, yeah. So, and also, they're probably very particular about not being associated with it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're going to be careful not to do anything.
They want to be outside of that.
So I think this week is out.
Right. And we also have, we were talking about this a few episodes back. Previously, the ESA would help people to coordinate this glut.
Now it's basically like every man for himself.
Right. So nobody's stepping on each other's toes or booking the same times. Now it really is a free-for-all.
It's a free-for-all.
So it does get a little bit dicey.
It's like if you don't lock your date in with an announcement, like a pre-announcement, then anyone can do anything at those days.
Right.
No one's going to honor your spot.
Right.
Nintendo's previous spot during E3 would have been...
Look at you with the research.
Oh, I'm very prepared for
this. This is new.
What do you mean
this is new?
You don't think I'm prepared for this show?
Let's go. Continue.
Their previous dates would have been like Tuesday, right? So the 14th would have been like... If the E3 was the week of the 13th, it would have been the 14th would be the digital event.
If there was an E3 this year.
Correct.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So that's the date that I'm actually thinking about.
Okay.
The dates between the 14th and the 16th of next week is, I think, the highest chances of that direct.
And we know, the way they pre-promote it is it's typically 24
hours.
I think there's some exceptions where you might get a little bit more.
48 hours.
Or like a day and a half.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be 24 hours.
And what that means is there are some days that are just kind of off limits because of the way they do that. Like you're not going to get it on a Monday.
You don't get it on Monday.
Because they're not going to be pre-promoting on a weekend because, you can't get the whole build up, the cycles.
And also the global teams are on that different time.
Yeah.
And you have to consider them too.
And that means if there was a Friday in the US Direct, that would be in the weekend.
Yes,
in
that's
Japan,
not going to happen. So you're not going to get it on the 13th or the 17th or the 10th or the 6th.
So it's really a Tuesday to Thursday conversation.
Right.
Now, I've been putting the pieces together.
Oh yeah,
I've got my cork board.
I was just
going
to
say,
strings. Do you have like a beautiful mind
I've been
closet
doing that.
where you're like, woo?
Now here's what I'm going to say. there was a very interesting rumor that was going around last week about this game.
GoldenEye?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It's a game I'm interested in, by the way.
Right.
The rumor was that it's launching on Thursday, June 16th.
So so
this showed up in the PlayStation Store. It's like a new day out of nowhere. So my thinking is,
shadow drop.
This game would be a shadow drop in the Direct.
Which means the Direct is on
Which means the Direct would be on the
Thursday.
16th. So that is my prediction, is the 16th.
Okay, yeah, I was playing around with, I thought it was going to be the 14th.
Sure, could be.
Yeah, I like this logic that you have. I feel like shadow dropping something is totally we'll go into the predictions soon, but that's on my list of predictions.
Yeah.
There's going to be one, if not more, shadow drops coming.
And that was a game that first appeared in, I believe, an Indie World Showcase.
That's right. And it was absent from the last Indie Game Showcase.
So it makes sense to carry that through.
Very good. Okay. So that means if it's on the 16th, we'd get a like a tune-in on the 15th.
Or maybe the afternoon, the day before, depending on... But they never want to give too much time.
That's right. They don't want people to like spin their...
Even though they still do.
Expectations.
Even though people still go
Let's
insane.
Go! Let's pop off! Let's go insane!
Right.
What's it going to be?
Mother 3, here we go. This is
Metroid Prime 4! Animal Crossing! Yes!
Get your summoning circles going.
Yeah. Oh my god. Now we can finally do it. Now we can feed into this. This is like my dream come true, you guys. You don't even know like how many...
But you're doing it strictly for trolling purposes.
Oh, absolutely.
These people are very earnest about this, okay?
Well, I'm going to give you my actual predictions, and then we'll do some trolling.
All right. Do you have anything else to say about the timing?
No, I don't. I think we're pretty aligned. You and I are between the dates of the 14th and 16th.
But do you have an actual date?
Mine's the 14th.
14th.
Yeah. 14th.
Okay. Great.
And yours is the 16th.
Yeah.
So we shall see. Okay, how fun. All right.
Just overall, before we get into like really specific, just thoughts on what this, the approach to this Direct could be, or things they're going to focus on. Because I'll say, I think it'll be a good but not great Direct, which most Directs tend to be.
Right.
And I think the reason is they do so many of these a year. They never need to do everything all at once. They're always something that's like, well, we can save that for next time.
Yeah.
And we don't need to get too far into the future.
That's the thing that I think people forget about.
Right.
That was pretty like typical. And when we were at Nintendo, this was always like this quote unquote strategy is that Nintendo will never talk about games the way that like Marvel talks about movies. Like, let's show you
the whole roadmap.
Yeah, they're not doing that.
Right.
They're not going to show you the game that's coming out in 2026, not even a logo.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. So it's going to be stuff that is 90%
mostly this year. Yeah. With a couple exceptions.
And also the games that they've announced already, that are really far out, they're not going to talk about it again unless it's ready to show.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, sort of like get your hopes up really.
Right, because again,
you'll see something like that.
There will probably be another Direct in the fall.
Exactly.
And after that, early the following year.
It's going to be this June Direct, and then you're probably going to get one in September.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get one in February. Yeah. That's how they go.
And especially with E3 being no more, I have to think there's really no like pecking order of the importance of one Direct over the other. It's like, well, they're all important.
They're all important.
So
it's just based on the readiness of these games.
No need to stack the deck.
The only thing though is, and again, I don't think Nintendo's doing this, but there may be some internal discussion about like, because June has now unofficially become like Summer Game Fest season, and other big publishers are doing their conference, like their quote unquote Directs.
Yeah.
Like there may be some internal discussion about like, let's just make sure ours like stacks up, like the Nintendo one stacks up to it. So
I'm sure it's still
there's a little bit of competitive analysis around that.
Right.
So it won't be like, they're not going to like nonchalantly just like whatever, but it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be like blow your mind.
Yeah.
And it probably won't be a lot of stuff that you don't already know about.
Yeah. And you probably shouldn't expect any Direct to completely blow your mind.
Ever again.
Period.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a big announcement here or there, but from like beginning to end, like all your dreams coming true.
Yeah,
maybe not.
Yeah, not to be like a downer or anything.
That's just not what they're trying
to do.
Right.
They're so concerned too about like this whole thing of expectation management.
Yeah.
Like they've definitely been burned a couple of times, and even using like phrasing like "you'll be surprised." Like we were actually banned from using that phrasing because it was not
banned
good.
Words. Yeah.
They're banned words. Like we can never say the words success. We can never say the word surprise. In any of our outgoing communications.
You have to sit in the corner with the dunce cap
in
the middle of a meeting.
You had to sit more than
you
in
had
the
to
corner.
do that. I saw you do that on more than one occasion.
Don't tell people.
The dunce cap with the K on it. I could have used that, but I never needed to.
It's like you're getting like you punished by your parents. Time out. I'm a time out.
Did that really happen? The dunce cap? Is that a real thing in history?
That seems like a bullying
This is a tangent.
thing.
We can't do that today. Unless you're in that meeting and you say success. Boom. Yikes. Get in the corner.
You're going to get put in time out.
All right. Back to this, though.
Yeah. So.
All right. So what do you have next as your big category of predictions?
I have first party new announcements.
New announcements.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do that.
Okay. I think that there might be a special edition Switch for the holidays.
Okay.
So some sort of not Switch 2.0. But
like a branded
bundle
sure.
or something like that. I think it's actually going to be Splatoon.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a game that not only is Nintendo prioritizing, it's moved to September now, so it's closer to that holiday time frame. It's one of those games where it could have more of like a mass appeal.
Yeah.
And also, we were talking about this a lot with Splatoons. Like, it kind of needs like more than just like, here's the same multiplayer mode again. It needs like more something.
Yeah.
So, and of course, it would look really cool too. Like, it's perfect. Like, the aesthetic is really perfect for something like that.
Yeah.
So that's one of my predictions. My first ones is some sort of special edition OLED Nintendo Switch for the holidays.
Now, I agree that will probably happen.
Okay.
I might disagree on whether this is where it gets announced because we know the thinking is always like, let's not stop somebody from buying something they might buy now because it's like, well, I'll wait for, 4 months or however long it is.
Yeah.
So those are always like very...
That's true. Like they don't want to cannibalize the sales right now.
Yeah, it's like we always get like a branded Pokemon. Like I'm sure we'll get that with those 2 new legendaries or maybe my face on it. And it'd probably be like a Switch Lite. I'm almost certain that's going to happen. Whether that gets announced here, I don't know.
The thing that throws a little bit of wrench into that kind of thinking, which is very Nintendo, they're always like, let's not cannibalize our sales with announcing this new SKU.
Right.
Like that is such like a... Like
called it a SKU. It's disgusting.
They called it a SKU.
That's
what the big...
Give me the barf bucket.
That's what
we keep
the
just
suits
off
say.
camera.
I was imitating the suits.
Give me the barf bucket.
The retail team.
We need a SKU for JFM.
Oh my gosh.
OND.
OND.
Like, when did this happen? Why can't we just call it Q4? What's wrong? What was wrong with Q4?
Or just holiday.
It's actually fewer letters to say Q4 than OND.
Than OND.
Yeah. And they mean literally the same thing.
For OND. That's a lot of letters. 6 letters.
Do you know what SKU stands for?
Software.
No. Store Keeping Unit.
I don't know. How do you know that?
Just do.
Okay, anyways, we're again on a tangent.
We were in different meetings, if you know what I mean. I
was in the corner with a dunce cap on because that's a success.
Get out.
Oh no, I wasn't a suit. Sorry. What was I saying?
You were talking.
The only wrench that I think could be put into this kind of thinking is that it's kind of hard for people to get stuff right now anyways.
Oh, interesting.
And there's like so much stuff around this like like the supply chain.
Sure.
So it's like maybe this kind of thinking could potentially be like a little bit less prevalent because it's like, well, we just need to get people like thinking about the Switch all the time. And
just keep the demand high no matter what.
Exactly, because it's so hard, right, to even like get one in your hands. Right?
Interesting.
So that's my only.
Yeah, I won't argue with that.
All right, what do you have for your?
Is that all you have for new announcements?
No. I think we should go back and forth.
Okay, fine. I mentioned this a few episodes back. I was going through like the big Nintendo franchises that we have not had on Switch yet.
Exactly.
And there's a big one that stood out to me that, again, I mentioned a few episodes ago. So
Get ready.
Props to our eagle-eyed or eared listeners. I think we need to get a new Mario and Luigi game. It has been so long. And it was crazy how many of those games were on 3DS.
It is really
I was
crazy.
like, whoa, we got one of these like almost every like year and a half.
Yeah.
And it has not been seen on the Switch. Obviously, we had Paper Mario, but this is different. I know something happened to that dev team that made those games.
Yeah.
They poofed into thin air.
Right? Something like
But
that.
guess what? We can keep making these games. Those games did well. People
Yeah.
like those games. I think we're due.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to happen.
Okay. Yeah, I wondered, I was curious about, I was thinking about this a lot too, about like, what is the Mario specific, like, roadmap look like now that the movie's been pushed out?
This has been a big thing for you.
I know, I just feel like...
For months.
I know, I'm still like twisted up.
You're very
twisted up
focused
about
on this.
Maybe I'm just like overthinking it. I'm too smart for them. My galaxy brain is too smart for Nintendo. Just kidding. I'm wondered because I had... Remember, we talked about Mario, the movie, the game.
Right.
And I wonder if there's like another like smaller Mario game that will kind of, stem the gap or whatever.
Right.
And that could be a really good one because it's not really like a mainline Mario game, but it's one that has a really like passionate niche audience.
Yeah.
Like I think current Switch owners would like want to.
I'd like to play that
Be
game.
like a no-brainer, want to play it.
Totally.
So it's like kind of a guarantee, in terms of like it will sell and you don't need to do that much for it.
Right.
So I was on the same thinking line, like what games are that were like maybe HD on Wii U or whatever that hasn't come to Switch yet. I'm back on this Wind Waker jag. I have that on my list.
So that is on your list.
Yeah, Wind Waker HD port.
I actually had that on my list and I deleted it.
You did? Why is that?
So obviously, Breath of the Wild 2 is the big games coming out in
probably March.
I just feel like they're going to focus on that and let that carry itself into March, and then be like, let's not have to worry about these other Zelda things. Let's just focus on that and let's get there because we still have they've said basically nothing about this game. We don't even know what this game's called. We don't know what the title of this game is. So it's like, let's just keep the eye on the ball with that. I have to imagine those games, those ports are being worked on if they're not already done. Who knows when we'll get them, but I don't think it will be in this. I think it'll be after that game comes out.
I disagree with that. I just feel like there could be this other like strategy or like other side of that coin where it's like we just are not ready to give people a lot of information about this game and we don't want to. They might do that Animal Crossing thing where they just do like a title direct in like early next year and just jam all that stuff in one direct and just get it out that way. But you're losing this huge holiday season timing by not having one of your key franchises as part of that lineup. And if these games are, and I agree with you too, I think like those games are either being worked on or they're done. They're just like sitting on them.
Right.
You might as well, now that this game is delayed, you might as well use it to like, have your big IP out there. Especially Wind Waker is like it's not as like, hardcore Zelda. It's like a more like cute version. So maybe they're, Nintendo's focus this year is the kids audience or whatever. Like that could be a good game for that too. Like this like more like family friendly kind of title. So
would you go so far as to say that's a lock? Is this one of your locks? Do you have locks?
Oh, I didn't put locks
guarantees?
on mine, but I'll lock this one.
I have some locks.
I'll lock this one and I'll lock the Switch Special Edition.
I have 4 locks on my list.
Okay.
We haven't gotten to any of them.
We'll lock those 2 right now.
Wow.
Lock it in.
They do need, we were talking about September is Splatoon, November is Pokemon, October is a little unresolved, and you always need a good October game.
Wind Waker.
I still think...
You think Mario
I still
and Luigi.
think Bayonetta will be one of the games, but I think there'll be
Bayonetta.
another big game for October.
Bayonetta is not for the mainstream audience.
Right, it's not...
Nintendo's going to want something for the mainstream audience, and I think it's going to be...
It's not a holiday driving...
It's got to be their like top 3 IP,
it's
top
gotta be
2
something
IP. It's got to be Mario or Zelda.
All right.
Okay, continue.
I only have one more in my new announcements, and it's something I don't feel super confident in.
Not a lock.
This is a non-lock.
Non-lock. Lockless.
So I think we're going to get either in this direct or, whatever direct happens in the fall, a new Fire Emblem game.
Yeah.
It's been several years.
Yeah.
Again, think how many Fire Emblem games we got on 3DS.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah.
And obviously they're more
There is
in-depth now.
Fire Emblem
Warriors.
Warriors.
That's what's throwing me off.
I think that's because of that, it's not happening.
So I think the game is going to be Three Houses 2, where it's just a continuation of that. Because it's like, why are we getting Warriors that's set within that world? It's like we want to keep people focused on these characters in this world.
And there was so much DLC for that game too that they could add into Fire Emblem.
And you could and you know, it's not a crazy thing to say. You could make a sequel to that easier than you could make a brand new Fire Emblem game from scratch.
Totally.
It's like we got everybody loves all this stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just stick with that.
Right.
So
people like the characters and everything.
That could be a cool E3 announcement, but I also would not be shocked just because of this game coming out later in June with it happening later in the year.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be in this one, but I thought about Fire Emblem a lot when I was putting this list together.
That's why it's a non-lock.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think eventually, if not now, then in a couple months, you might
Well, eventually we're going to get all this.
Not necessarily.
I mean,
stranger things have happened.
Eventually, I might not be here. Okay?
That's a lot.
How eventually are we talking? That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Our morbid predictions for our lives.
Well, it's for everyone's lives. Y'all live and y'all die.
I've been talking to a scientist, you see.
That's what happens.
Got some big ideas.
It's the circle of life, people, as they say.
Freezing my brain into a robot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Download your consciousness into a cyborg.
So I have no more new announcements.
Okay, me too. I am
also
also
you're done with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have my next section is like updates on already announced stuff.
I've got a lot in this one.
Okay, let's get going. You go first. Go ahead.
So we were talking about Splatoon 3.
Yes, I have that on my
I think we have actually very little information on Splatoon 3 in this, and I think instead what we get is look forward to the dedicated Splatoon 3 Direct.
I think so too. There's going to be a title direct for this game.
You know, July or...
No, too early.
Or however long.
Probably August.
Well, then why would they announce it there? It's my prediction!
Oh, sorry. Whoa!
Jeez!
I really freaked out.
You're really jumping all over my predictions here.
But that's my job.
Not to make my predictions. But that's what I think. It's like we need to know so much about this. Now is not the time. But please look forward to it.
I do think they're gonna give us a little tease of like the single player mode, just a tiny little.
But yeah, very little.
Just a little baby tease.
Very little.
Show us the some of the bosses.
Right.
Maybe like a little bit of the storyline. There could be something kind of fun and weird that they'll do for this, as usual, some glimpse into the research lab, yada yada.
Yeah, you have
in lab coats.
You have to include it some way.
Lab coats seem to be like a thing of the year.
I bought a lab coat last week.
I know. I feel like you can use that lab coat for a lot of stuff. It's very versatile. You got a lab coat, you got a kimono, what else you got?
It's kind of the same thing if you think about it.
It really is.
It's not very different.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways. Yeah.
All
okay.
right.
So we both kind of agree on that. My next one here.
Is your prediction just Kit's wrong listed on once? That's your whole predictions list?
I just like one.
But I disagree.
I think you're dumb. No. My next one is about the Mario Kart DLC tracks.
Okay, I had that in a different category, but go ahead.
Oh.
I had a support for existing games category.
Well, I thought that's the category we were in right now.
Well, we're talking about games that I was talking about games that aren't out yet.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to save that then?
Okay, fine.
All right.
All right. Well, then my next one is Bayonetta.
Yes, and?
I think it's going to be launch date and gameplay in this
I
direct.
agree. And that's one of my locks.
Okay, you want to lock that one in? Yeah.
And I'm going to say the October release date, I'm going to say is a lock too.
I think they're going to lock an October release date in, and it's probably going to be like that third week of October before Halloween.
Yeah. And
I think it's going to be like pretty significant, like stuff that you'll see.
Yeah.
And we'll see actual gameplay.
We are on the same page there for once.
There you go. See?
Great.
Wow.
A double lock?
Double lock?
Wow.
Okay.
What's amazing?
We should make a graphic for double lock. Double lock.
Yeah.
This is like Jeff Keighley's world premiere. We have like a double. Okay, I'm going to make that.
Great.
I'm going to put it right here in this video.
Double lock.
It needs to be like a key.
An explosion.
Ka-chunk.
Yeah, you lock it and the lock explodes.
Okay, anyways.
I'm working my way up to the really big stuff. So we had the Pokemon trailer last week, which is interesting because that probably takes those games off the table
They like to do their own thing now.
Direct.
They want to do their
sometimes own thing. It is, sometimes it isn't. It's strange.
Yeah.
But, the way TPC plans their rollouts is they do it very far in advance.
Yeah,
and they're not always thinking about E3. They're just what makes sense for us?
They want to do that thing where they just, drip it to you for, consistently over a long period of time.
Right.
It's like the IV drip.
Exactly. So, but I do think they will, Nintendo will feel like, well, this is our biggest game probably of the holiday. We need to mention it. So you'll probably get a very quick reinforcement of what you got.
Yeah.
And I think you might see something like an announcement of a double pack, something that's retail driven.
Yeah.
Which is really, what role Nintendo plays.
I think there's already a double pack that they announced.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I say that, or again, your idea about the hardware.
Okay.
Something in that realm.
Some sort of special
Some
Joy-Con.
sort of something like that.
Yeah.
Or like a pre-order
gift with purchase.
Pre-order program, something like that.
Yeah. A little
But
old school, but whatever.
very. It's a blip in the scheme of this whole
thing.
thing.
The launch date, just so people will start thinking about when to pre-order and buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a little one there.
Okay. All right.
All right. Now we're getting into some big ones on my list.
Oh yeah.
But what do you have? What's next?
I don't have any more.
You don't have any more
in this section because you took my Mario thing out.
You didn't have anything about Breath of the Wild? You didn't have anything about Metroid Prime?
Oh, that's in my. I put that in the no news section.
Oh well, let's talk about those games. All right. So, I mean, you just spoiled these. Sounds like we have a major disagreement on some of these. So I think Breath of the Wild. So they delayed this game, but it's not a significant delay. It's not so far out as to say we'll do that later. I think they need to do something.
They're not going to do
for that, and I think they need to announce the title, and I think that's what happens here. I think you get another. I think you get another smallish, maybe a minute, very short trailer. Obviously, this is not the big hey, here's everything you want to know about this game.
Yeah.
But I think you get something smallish, and I think you get the title.
I don't think you get anything.
All right.
In this one, I really don't. I think that they're going to let.
Well, your direct is a whole bunch of nothing.
I'm just being realistic. Don't rile up the people when they're going to get. You're not managing their expectations.
I'm just saying.
You're saying the word success.
That's not my problem anymore.
You're saying surprise successes, and now you're going to go sit in the corner.
Make a dunce hat out of these papers and put it on your head.
I think the delay was announced too close to this. And now I think they want people to sit with it and really get used to the fact that this thing is delayed. I think in September, though, we'll get something.
Yeah.
Like what you said. Title, maybe.
Well, you're running out of time at that point, yeah.
Not really. People are going to buy this game. I don't think you need to do it so far in advance.
Well, let's have everybody take a vacation then for the next 6 months.
Well, they got to develop a game. We can take a vacation though if you want.
That wasn't how it worked. You knew that. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing now? What are you doing now? What did you do yesterday? What are you doing now? Are you worried? I'm a little worried.
I don't have to do any of that now. I have to deal with you.
Are you stressed out? I'm freaking out. You know that's how it is.
Oh, gosh.
O&D.
O&D is very important.
The SKU in O&D. What are you doing for the SKU in O&D?
The business, though.
Right. Metroid Prime 4. Let's talk about this.
I think there's no news in that either.
I think.
Oh, here we go.
I mostly agree with you.
Okay.
I do think, though, it has been so long
since the logo?
Since we've seen a logo, we got the news this game was being rebooted. I think you get just a mention. Development is still progressing well on Metroid Prime 4. Just that mention. I think that's all you get. I agree, though, that we're not going to. I think this is.
They had to restart over.
But that was many years ago.
No, that was two. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was 3 years ago.
Oh, my God, it's been 3 years.
It's been a long time. But I do think if there is a game that gets the Breath of the Wild treatment, that it gets held for some future hardware, I think this is
the one.
Some people are like, oh, well, Breath of the Wild 2 is going to launch alongside some new hardware. I don't think so.
No. Too early.
Yeah, I don't think so.
This is the one.
I think
this could be the dual SKU where it's like the Twilight Princess of Wii U and GameCube. This Metroid Prime 4 is that.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So
yes.
And again, who knows how long that could be? Because, Nintendo's whole plan is we're elongating this life cycle.
Mm-hmm. So they're not in any hurry at all.
This is the one game where it's really don't hold your breath.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think there's any mention because expectation management. They'll want to rile up the fans.
Right. But
especially these fans.
But I do think this year, if there's no mention, they're going to get a lot of questions of like, what happened to this game? Is this still happening?
They don't care.
That's why you just need the one line of
they don't care about
development is
answering
progressing
these
well.
questions.
We're very pleased with the progress.
They're so up their own like river with like we're gonna announce it when we feel ready.
There'll be enough people tapping them on. It's like we just one line. We just need to put this in.
Who is the people?
We just need to do this.
No,
I would have done that if I was in that situation. Look.
They wouldn't have listened to you.
Listen, sometimes when I write the script, sometimes I sneak stuff in there. Okay, I feel like well, somebody better you first of all.
Would you write like Kit is awesome?
You need to read the script. You need to read the script if you're going to edit the script. Not everybody read the script that closely.
That's true. People do not read the
slip
scripts.
it in. Do you have that Ron Burgundy moment? See, don't do that.
Doug Bowser's looking straight into the camera and having a Ron Burgundy moment.
I never did
not
that.
Very nice.
I never did that. But sometimes I'm going to say it this way.
Change the for an Is that what you did? Your great accomplishments.
Listen.
The great American literature.
Again, you weren't there.
I was there.
You don't understand.
I do understand.
You were not there.
I was there alongside.
All right. Do I have anything else in this section? No.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Let's talk about current games that are getting stuff added to it. Yes. Mario Kart DLC tracks, new tracks. I think that's going to get announced. Dates.
Announced or released?
Probably released, actually.
I had that as a lock. Shadow drop of the new
I think that
tracks.
That's good. Let's lock it.
Yeah.
Double lock.
Double lock again. Wow.
Double lock again because summertime is like perfect for this. They want this like summer vibe.
It's been a couple months.
Yeah. The first ones did really well, I think.
Well, yeah.
People like them.
You got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
What else?
What else did I have in here?
That's it?
I have a couple third-party things.
All right, well, let me do these couple ones.
Okay.
So this is under the support for existing games category. Mm-hmm. I think we get the first look at some of the Mario Strikers post-launch content. The Daisy? That Daisy drop. There was always the game that came out just before E3 that they felt compelled
to do something,
to push,
or else someone's going to forget, or people are going to forget.
We need people to stay focused on this game that just came out. Yeah. So I do think you get that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's probably some character, something minimal, something
probably
should have been there
in the first place. Exactly.
And so I'm actually putting that as another lock. That's my last lock.
All right.
Another one that's in this category that it's like I could see this, but maybe not. I don't know. Some sort of a new Switch Sports edition, a new sport.
New sport.
I mean, we know golf is
coming.
coming.
Did they say summer for that?
I think it was later than summer.
Oh.
But might there be something else that could come out in the summer?
No.
Maybe. I have a hard time putting my finger on how they're approaching this game.
Well, that team is very unique.
I mean, developing hamburger robots.
After we read the developer thing, I was like, "Oh, you guys are different." Okay, great.
So maybe that's
non-traditional.
Me projecting
what
I think they should be doing versus what they're actually doing.
I think it's exactly.
So I think there may be a bit more. We're done with this than we might think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it wasn't like a blockbuster hit, so they were like, maybe we should just move on.
Yeah. So,
I think they should move on too.
So that is absolutely not a lock for me.
Yeah.
That's just a thought.
All right.
Is
that it?
I got two more things. But what do you have next?
So I have a third-party section.
I actually didn't have any third-party because it's so hard to predict. But I can't wait to hear what you have.
Yeah, but actually, a lot of the stuff is sort of things that we were, predicting a little bit in the indie showcase and thinking about like other times these games might potentially be announced.
Tunic?
So I have that on my list. Yeah. Tunic on Switch.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And I just kind of feel like it's probably already happening. So.
I think so too. Or is it occasionally you'll find an indie that's like, oh, well, we prioritize these other platforms.
Yeah.
And we actually haven't started on a Switch version.
Right.
Which I find those to be head scratchers.
Yeah.
But sometimes it happens.
Yeah. They have to have some sort of way to manage their workload, right?
I would love for that to be true.
Yeah. Silk Song. Silk Song. Let's do it. Silk Song. Launch date.
So what are you saying about Silk Song?
Launch date.
Silk Song launch date.
Launch date.
I mean, that could be the one more thing, big announcement at the end.
That could be awesome.
I mean, that's the pop-off moment.
You're not going to get Metroid and you're not going to get Breath of the Wild. You might as well pop off to Silk Song.
Okay.
That's something that is very easy for them to put in for people to be happy and
mean,
forget about some of the things that
game
they're not putting in there.
Exists. Maybe.
Come on, Silksong.
Okay.
It does exist. It
Okay.
absolutely exists.
Okay.
And then 2 more.
Yeah.
Sports Story,
Yes.
Shadow Drop.
Okay.
I could see it.
Yep.
Along with your Teenage
My
Mutant
Ninja
Turtles.
Yeah.
That one, again, was very noticeably absent from the indie showcase, so might be holding it for a bigger
There'll
moment.
absolutely be multiple shadow drops. It's just so hard to predict what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Rabbids. Ugh.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
We still have not heard anything about a
I think
Ubisoft
it's gonna,
event.
and I don't know if that Ubisoft event is happening.
I gotta say, I completely forgot about that game. I
was thinking
forgot.
about my husband in a cage, and then I thought about this game. So, Rabbids launch date and gameplay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, if a Ubisoft event gets announced, then probably not.
What's going on over there?
Leaking stuff.
Huh.
Too busy leaking stuff to make a direct.
All right.
And then, of course, we'll get that sizzle.
Oh, the sizzle reel.
I love the sizzle.
The sizzle reel
I
music
love
is
the
always
sizzle.
like secretly good.
It's secretly good. The
Yeah.
music is great. It's
It's
like
just
some
like some
Euro
random, like,
club music.
Rights free stuff they
Yeah.
grabbed
Hey,
off
the
some
rights free
library.
stuff is good. I grab it off the library
You're a
too.
big fan.
I'm a big fan.
You need to make a rights free playlist now.
I should. I
You need to make
follow.
rights free summer vibes.
No, I actually need that playlist.
These
for
vibes
vlogs.
are rights free, baby.
Everyone has rights to these vibes.
Don't worry about infringing on this because they have no rights. All right, what else?
I've lost my place. I'm laughing so hard right now. Okay, that's my end of my third party section.
Okay, good.
And then in the no news.
Now I'm feeling bad about not having a third party section.
You should feel bad. Who's
Oh,
more
well.
prepared now?
Oh, well.
No news section. We kind of talked about this already.
Oh, I have more.
I have more too.
Okay.
Go for it. Since you were silent for the last 20
I
minutes.
do not think we get any information on the Mario movie in this direct.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh, I mean-
Absolutely not.
I mean, nobody would have said, oh, yeah, we're getting the casting.
They're starting over
In the
because they
direct.
have to write musical numbers.
So, on one hand, it's like maybe they learned their lesson from the last direct of people just like clowning on the cast reveal.
I don't think they learned their lesson.
It's just so weird, though, because the audience for a Nintendo Direct is so narrow compared to who you want to see your, like, for everybody hit movie.
Exactly.
So I just don't think it'll be there. I don't know the reason.
Yeah.
There's multiple reasons. I just hope it's not there. Don't put it there. That's not a good place for it.
It's not a good place for
No.
it. But I also don't think they care what people think. But they also, I don't think there's much to say right now because they're probably doing stuff to the movie, like making updates and stuff.
I'm just going to give a tease for our top 10 direct moments. That casting might be on the list.
Don't do that.
Some moments are good, some moments aren't so good.
Yeah, it's not top
They
10
all-
best moment.
they
It's
could
just
all make the list.
top 10 moments. Top 10 embarrassing
All right,
moments.
I'm going to
top
zip it
10
now.
bad.
All right. What else do you have in no show?
No shows. I have Donkey Kong as a no show. I don't think
Oh,
there's
yeah.
going to be any sort of Donkey Kong news at all.
But are you talking about the rumored Tokyo Odyssey team Donkey Kong game or just anything at all?
Anything at all.
Anything, yeah.
I don't think there's going to be. But no, there's definitely. Yeah. The
Yeah,
Tokyo.
I agree.
Yeah.
I actually have no major Mario game or
Yeah.
the rumored DK game.
Yeah.
I'm not counting that Mario and Luigi. That's
Yeah, I don't think any major Mario game either. Because
Okay.
again, Mario the movie, the game is going to be
You
moved to
talked
next
yourself
year.
out of that?
It's going to be moved to next year to go along with the movie.
Oh, I see.
That's what I think.
So you still believe in that?
I believe in that.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be like April now. Or maybe a summer game or something like that.
Oh, after the movie.
Could be after the movie. I think alongside or after the movie could be interesting.
I don't know if I completely grasp what you think this is.
Well,
Maybe you don't
maybe
either.
Maybe it's not on my level. Okay.
Maybe you don't.
The strategy is so good. You go to this theme park, you watch this movie,
boy.
you play this game. It could be fun.
All right.
The other thing I have on here is Smash. No Smash.
Oh yeah. What Smash could it be?
I don't know.
Secret challenger, new challengers?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, weird over there. There could be anything happening. Any
Don't even
number.
mention that. Don't even put
No.
that in people's minds.
I'm just saying it's not going to be there. Whatever you think is
I
not.
had erased that from my brain. Like, we don't need to worry about that anymore. For a few more years, at least.
Who knows? Sakurai tweeting sneakers of Inklings right now? What is he doing? Nobody knows.
Please no.
Please,
Please.
no. Please, no.
Please. Well, that's it.
Do you have any more on yours?
I don't.
Wow.
We predicted the Nintendo Direct. It's going to be 100% right?
We when we do reactions for Nintendo Direct,
Yeah.
we should do bingo style and check off our list if they're correct or not.
I think you're right.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Tell us what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have other predictions? Comments, please.
Yeah.
I want to see it. Let's collectively figure this out together.
This is where the Direct gets announced and out before this episode comes out.
Don't say
we're
that.
Like 100% wrong on everything. It's just a complete whiff.
You guys never trust us ever
Yeah.
again. Yeah, exactly. I don't think that's going to happen. But that would be funny.
All right.
They watch this episode of the podcast and they change it around to spite
Rearrange it.
That's it. So that is sort of the big segment of the week.
Yeah.
A little bit non-traditional for a Kit
good.
Krysta podcast, but
No.
it was fun.
You had to give it some time.
This is something that I've wanted to do for so long and like physically, mentally, spiritually could not while we were working at Nintendo.
Legally.
Legally. And then we would always be kind of jealous of people that get to predict things and do reactions and stuff. So this is such a fun new part of our lives that we get to experience with you guys.
But it was also fun to look at the people making the prediction and be like, you're so wrong. And now they're doing that to us.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is true. Like knowing and then having people make the predictions and seeing how off they were could be kind of funny sometimes too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Let's move on, shall we?
Yes, please.
On to the games we're playing. Playing some new stuff. We found some new stuff to play.
Hodgepodge of stuff that came out of nowhere that I wasn't really expecting.
Right.
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm still chipping away here at Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I got distracted a little bit, but I have been actively playing at least once every day or so for a little bit. I've gotten to this new area now, not a spoiler, but I had thought that the whole game sort of takes place in this Night City, in that city area of Night City. But you actually go to sort of the outskirts.
Ah, yes.
This place called Ghost Town. And it's super different than the Night City vibes. And I really like it. It's I feel like it was a nice
change of pace
departure from sort of the club scene.
Right.
And that whole kind of storyline in Night City. So now I'm in a different area, meeting some different characters as well, and kind of it has this area has kind of that outside of Las Vegas vibe to it, where you're you were in the city, you go outside the city and it's a little bit junky. But
Henderson, is that what's the name of it?
Yeah, exactly.
Where they have the giant thermometer or something.
Exactly, it's the world's biggest ball of yarn or something like that. Yeah. It's that kind of thing, right? And it's these little sort of desert towns, and you're in this bar, and it's just that's the thing about this game that I really love is it so perfectly captures those places. When you're in Night City in one of those clubs, you're this is so real.
Right.
Even though you're a half robot, you're this is so real.
Mm-hmm.
The dialogue, the mannerisms of people, all of that stuff is so well done. And the same thing, they changed it up completely. Now you're in this little saloon desert thing.
Yeah.
And it's this is exactly the kind of beer you would get in a place like this. This is exactly what the bartender would look like at a place like this, or the way people are having a conversation in the background. That stuff is the environmental stuff is really, really well done.
Right.
Story continues to unfold, and I'm not having any issues. I'm playing the game on easy as well, so it's I feel I'm kind of just strolling through it, And I like that. I've been using the katana, which you were using a lot. And it was really fun. So, I think I don't know, maybe 75% of the way.
Sooner than you think.
Think so?
This game's short.
Okay. All right. So, yeah.
Good.
That's what I'm doing. What else?
But you had something else too.
Oh, keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. So randomly over this weekend, I started playing the new Diablo Immortal game on mobile, which is very unlike me because I usually am not a big like mobile game person, and definitely was a little bit concerned when I was thinking about whether or not to jump into this. I mean, I'm a huge fan. We both are of Diablo. We've both played those games for like ever. So didn't think twice about like being curious to check it out, but getting sort of nervous when I read a lot of articles about the pay to win stuff, which is just typical of mobile games, So I was a little bit concerned about that, but I thought I'd give it a shot and just, at least at the start it's free and see what happens.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm really enjoying it. And I was kind of surprised because there was such like bad reviews about people saying like, oh my gosh, the paying stuff is so in your face and like they're always trying to get you to buy stuff. I have not felt that really. Jump in very much like a traditional Diablo game. The controls feel really good. This left-hand side, your left thumb sort of is the movement, and then your right-hand side is all your, your attacks. Playing the wizard class, which is what I typically play. And when you jump in, you just like go into the story mode. They have a pretty good tutorial, and then you kind of get dropped into more of like an MMO sort of scenario where there's like in the safe zones, there's like you can see other players there. It's easy for you when you're going into a dungeon to hit a button where you can join random parties. The parties are not like high, like high stress or anything. No one's trying to like weirdly talk to you or trying to do weird stuff to you or anything like that. You just join the party, you go into the boss stuff together, and then you can just leave. Yeah. So it's like pretty nice. They'll group you with people your own level. The only thing that I see that you're paying for is like cosmetic stuff and like probably like if you want to upgrade your weapons, if you're doing like PvP stuff, like I can see maybe that's when you need it. But for me, I'm like very casually just like playing the story mode and stuff like that and jumping into some of the Rift dungeons like once in a while to like get some items. Like I don't feel the need to pay for stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, at the top of the evergreen things for people to get mad at in games.
I think so.
Pay to win. I mean, that was the same thing when Pokemon Unite came out. Yeah. It was like, oh, you're going to crash and burn in this game if you don't pay thousands of dollars. Yeah. It's like we played that game a ton. I ended up spending some money because I wanted to.
Yeah, I think I spent $20 playing that game because I wanted to support the developer.
I didn't feel like I was hindered by not spending all this money though.
Exactly.
But
and it's not in your face about it. Like you do click on some stuff and it's like to get this currency you need to pay like whatever. Yeah. But it's not like it's like you cannot continue without paying for this.
I had forgotten that this game came out or I didn't hear about it. So I was surprised when you said, oh, I'm playing it.
Yeah.
So I did download it and I played it for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Just when I had a little break. And at first I was like, oh, it's going to make me log into my Battle.net.
It does.
And it's like, oh, I don't remember. No, it didn't. It was like, oh, we just made this new profile for you and you can just use that. So I didn't. So it knew, I think, that was going to be a hang-up for people.
Oh, okay.
And
I did log into my Battle.net.
It had some smart approaches for not getting hung up on that.
Yeah. Okay,
and then, the controls, I'm curious, like, when the game gets more intense, like, because you do have, like, a lot, it's on, like, the lower right corner, you have your main attack, and then all your specials are kind of around it. Mm-hmm. It's like, am I going to fat finger the wrong thing in the heat of the moment? Because it's a virtual, controller situation.
Yeah.
I only played 15 minutes, so I don't know.
It hasn't really happened to me. I find the controls very easy. Sometimes I do have to like look at my hands a little bit to make sure I'm like still positioned correctly. Right. I'm jealous because you have a bigger iPhone.
I do.
So it's probably really nice. Yeah. And I have a small iPhone. So you can also play it beta on PC.
I saw that.
Yeah. I looked at it. It actually looks nice. Looks really nice. But I prefer the mobile version because I like to play on the go.
Right.
And I kind of was like deep in it. I'm like level like 35.
Wow.
So I really I played a lot
Yeah.
over the weekend.
Yeah.
It was really fun. And there's incentives. It's just like Pokemon Unite where if you check in every day, you get a reward.
Right.
If you do like one of the Rift dungeons every day, you'll get like special items and stuff like that. So then you have like little mobile things to keep you kind of engaged and stuff. And you unlock stuff like I unlocked like at level whatever. It's like now you can do like video capture. Now you can join a clan if you want to and stuff like that.
That's cool. What you're saying about the multiplayer being pretty seamless is good.
Yeah, I really have not had any issues.
So yeah, I'm going to keep going with it, and yeah, it's cool to hear your.
I think we can be friends and play together too, like pretty easily. You can like invite a friend.
That's nice.
Yeah. So
okay.
We can try it together. All right. That's me.
I've been continuing to just prowl Game Pass. Because we're this kind of like
weird. A lot of stuff on there.
In between period.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm playing all these huge open world games. It's like I just need something a little breezy to keep me going here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I found 2 games that I liked a lot. First is Art of Rally.
Okay.
Which is a rally racing game.
That's cool.
Do you know what rally racing is?
I do, actually. Okay. I really like rally racing.
It's like kind of like, outdoor off-road racing.
Off-road. Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it is like you're going like up a hill.
It's like really crazy terrain.
Or it's like ice racing. Secretly, one of my favorite games on the original Xbox is a game called Rally Sport Challenge.
Okay.
And they made 2 of those that were really good. They were made by, I think, DICE, who EA acquired, so I'll probably never get another one of those.
Oh.
Now they're too busy making Battlefield and such. But this has kind of a very, like, cartoony look to it almost, and some different camera angles. It's almost like more top-down than behind the car.
Okay, cool.
But it's really, I was really impressed with this game. Like,
when did this game come out?
I think it came out like a year or 2 ago. I know it's on Switch as well, and I was curious about it, but I never pulled the trigger. But it's on Game Pass, so I was like, well, why not?
Get it for free, yeah.
It's definitely a bit stripped back as far as like all the features, but it really nails like the feeling of like being out in these environments. That's very like nature heavy.
Nice.
The driving seems very good. It feels like you're on like a dirt road.
Yeah.
There's enough cars to choose from, so I thought that was really cool. And I'll probably be coming back to that here and there. Actually, I might just go ahead and buy it on Switch because it seems perfect for that. But that's really cool. There were some rally games. I think there was, I forget the name. There was one from Codemasters that came out recently that I got that was like way too far on the like realistic simulation end of things. It's like I could barely finish a lap in that game.
Oh.
It's like this is not
much.
for me. Like I want it to be a little more on the arcadey side.
Yeah, like a little bit more like cartoony almost.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to be spinning out every turn.
Right.
So this definitely felt like that. The other game that I've been playing and I've actually been sticking with is Crackdown 3.
Oh boy.
What is that supposed to mean?
Nothing. Continue.
I really like the Crackdown series, although it's really only the first one that is considered to be, quote, good. And that, I forget when that game came out, but it felt like that was like really riding a wave of these open world superhero-ish games.
Yeah.
That made me like, as I was playing this game, I got really nostalgic for that because there was Crackdown, there was Infamous, there was Prototype, there was like these Halt games.
Yeah.
Those were a little bit older. But I was like, yeah, there really was like an era of these like, superhero games. And for me, like the original Crackdown, I've always enjoyed Grand Theft Auto games, but this kind of like broke those games for me because it's like, wow, why would I drive around in a car
when I can around and jump around?
Just jump on these rooftops
Yeah.
and have all these different options for mobility. So I became very addicted to getting those agility orbs, which let you jump faster and run faster. And that's still one of the cool things to do with this game.
It's like the Spider-Man game when you can like get around in that like web slinging kind of way, and it's like, why would you ever use a fast travel point?
I didn't play Crackdown 3 when it came out because it got really awful reviews.
Oh.
And I went back to the Metacritic after I started this. I was like, how low was it? And it was like even lower than I thought. It was like 5s and 6s.
Yikes.
But I don't think it's that bad. It's definitely like not doing anything crazy new.
Okay.
It's definitely got some limitations. I mean, so definitely as I'm playing it, I'm not like, oh, this is the greatest game ever.
Right.
But it's a very addicting loop that they have of, getting stronger or taking down these kind of strongholds and getting new weapons or unlocking different parts of the map. So it's a very just almost mindless, breezy experience. But
I was going to say, it's like watching like a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah, they get all the...
just like fun explosions.
All the kind of
action.
visceral parts of it, where you're shooting or something's blowing up or you're jumping really high.
Yeah,
Those still feel good, and that's really what I come to this series for. So, yeah, I mean, I would love for this series to get back
Think you're going to finish the game?
on track. Apparently, it's not very long, so I might.
Wow.
We'll see.
Who knew? You were just dabbling.
I know.
A few weeks
that's
ago.
what's nice about Game Pass.
Yeah, it is. You don't have really like.
Just grab these things.
Yeah, you don't feel like, oh my gosh, if I get it and I hate it, it's going to be a big thing.
And they still had the original. I did grab the original Crackdown just to have it. Maybe I'll fire that
Go
open.
back
You
to
seem
it.
very down on this series
I'm
that
not.
you've never played.
I'm not down on it.
You should play it. You'll love it.
You think so?
I think you'd like it.
Okay.
Explosions.
You like explosions more than
do.
I like.
They're good explosions in this game. You blow up a car and these guys go flying.
Okay.
It's cool.
Okay.
It's cool.
Okay. I'm agreeing with you.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So that's it for what we're playing.
News.
On to the news.
All
We
right.
got this Pokemon trailer in the state of play. I don't want to, just say
Spend
people
too-
should watch those reaction videos.
Yeah.
If they want to see our full reactions to
Yeah,
those.
totally.
Anything we haven't said about these though?
Oh gosh, I feel like we kind of covered it in those videos, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of things in the state of play that I think. Well, I think the big takeaway from the state of play is that we had low hopes going in,
Yeah.
and then we were like, "Oh, this is actually pretty good."
It was great.
It was actually like very substantial with some new, really cool like reveals, like the Street Fighter stuff, obviously the Final Fantasy,
Right.
And there were some good indie games, and this was a
Yeah.
really good mix of stuff. And we were thinking at first that it was going to be very like VR focused,
Yeah.
but ended up being a pretty great like all around state of play.
It was interesting how they didn't seem to try that hard with the expectation management
Yeah,
and yet succeeded with it.
right. It's like they didn't overthink it.
Where they didn't even explain what it was about
Yeah.
in their it was in the blog that
It
you had
was
to
in the
click
blog,
through to
yeah.
see.
But then it wasn't the blog when the thing that they wrote in there was actually not accurate to what happened.
Of course.
So it's
right.
like, why then?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
But this one, since this was so action-packed and full of stuff, it does have me rethinking, like, is there going to be another big, full state of play?
What about the God of War?
So I think what we're going to get is basically, I'm talking to you.
The axe.
The axe, yes.
What
the
about
axe is there.
I'm about to take it and hold it.
I think we're going to get, like, the equivalent of a title
direct, huh?
for God of War.
Maybe August?
And, yeah, it could be July, August. Again, I think that development's going down to the wire. So this was their way of, getting this big news out there and being part of, this moment of all these announcements happening now and cashing in some of those big ones.
Yeah.
And still being able to do something big for God of War later.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
that's
sure
good.
I'm sure they have a lot of other first party stuff happening. Do we get it this summer? I mean, God of War is big enough to
kind of carry.
To carry.
I think God of War is going to be the big
Yeah.
thing for them this holiday
Yeah.
and all that
That's
stuff.
what I would
so-
do if I was in their shoes.
Yeah, and then they have these other great games that are coming,
Right.
like- and all those trailers, like, they looked so good.
Yeah.
So I was not disappointed at all.
I want to go back to the Pokemon trailer.
Okay.
Something you said was you seemed unconvinced about this game being properly open world.
Yeah.
And I want to ask, what is it going to take for you to believe them?
I would like to see, like, the actual gameplay of how you progress the story.
Yeah.
Like, in my brain, it's like the same Pokemon formula where you leave your house,
Yeah.
you meet people to battle along these different routes. Sure, the environments that you're in might be more open and more cool. And then you go and fight a gym leader. Like, that is the formula that I do not want.
So if it ends up being like Pokemon Arceus,
Yes.
are you going to be disappointed in that?
No, I want that.
Because that was, it was fairly linear of like, well, now you're in this area, then you go to that
Yeah,
area.
but then I think the allowing you to like explore those areas. I mean,
Yeah.
I would like the areas to be more filled out, obviously, because it was a little
Sure.
sparse. And
Some of those were more than others.
Yeah, and then sort of like more of that like story discovery versus like here's the next gym leader that I need to
Yeah.
battle. Like I just would like that kind of evolution.
Okay.
And just like the freedom of like going off the main path, would be nice.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're kind of locked into like you're just progressing closer and closer to this next like big battle, and then you go into the next area. Like if there's a way for you to like, and the other thing I liked about Arceus is like how you can go back to some areas too to like catch Pokemon that maybe like you weren't strong enough to catch before.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if they can incentivize that kind of like holistic approach to the world, like that would be really nice. Because I mean, I feel like that was never the case in like mainline Pokemon games.
Because my feeling is that it'll be at least as open as Arceus, based on what I've seen and what they're saying.
So. Yeah,
I'm just curious of why you're still skeptical.
by the stadium footage. Like I was like, oh no.
Oh, that was very short.
I know, but I don't want to do that. I didn't like it in Sword and Shield. It was so boring. I literally fell asleep every time I played that game.
Oh gosh.
I just don't want another one of those.
Thank you to everybody who corrected us about Lechonk. And,
yes,
and what
Spanish.
that name is actually based on.
Lechonk.
We stand corrected.
Yes. I love, actually, I would eat that. So, it sounds good.
Well, I definitely eat it.
Sounds crispy and delicious.
Crunchy. Okay, so there was this bit of news that was a little bit buried the day the trailer came out. Did you see this?
I saw this on Mr. Masuda's Instagram channel and actually told him congratulations.
Yeah, so he, Mr. Masuda, is leaving Game Freak to become this chief creative fellow at the Pokemon Company.
Yeah.
And this was a big announcement they put out the same day of the trailer, which...
he had a very sweet post on his Instagram that said, like, thank you for all your continued support and all that stuff. And it seemed like people were positive, so,
Yeah, I mean, he's been at Game Freak, it says here, since the first Pokemon games. And he became, really the director. And I'm not worried about this because it did seem like they had a lot of good people that they were putting in the position he was in previously. There's Mr. Omori. There were others that we interacted with who seemed really good.
Yes.
So I'm not worried about this putting the future of the games in this precarious creative position.
Right.
I'm sad to see him go just for like kind of personal reasons.
Yeah, because when you think about Game Freak, you immediately associate that with Mr. Masuda and his spirit and his creativity. And that was a huge part of what made these games super special. So I wonder what his day-to-day is going to feel like and be like at TPC and what that job creative fellow actually means.
Yeah.
I also wonder, is he thinking about, all of us are getting older. Like, is he thinking about like just, sort of doing less? Maybe he's like wanting to like slow down a little bit. And
wow.
I don't know.
Way to throw cold water on this.
I'm just thinking, like, I would be thinking about that if I had done what he did for that many years. Right. Like maybe you want to like just chill a little bit because you work
9 a.m. to 4 p.m. nap.
Drink that
4
wine.
p.m. to 5 p.m.
Drink that wine.
Emails.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there has to be so much, and this is the part of Pokemon that we never really saw in action, is how do they coordinate all the different things, the games, the card games, the movies, the TV shows, the merchandise.
That huge, like,
how exactly
IP
do you coordinate
universe?
all of this? Of like, okay, this is the next big push. Scarlet and Violet, these are the key Pokemon that we're pushing. These are the characters.
Yeah.
Like, let's create this cohesive just universe through all of our... That's super hard. And I have to imagine he's going to be way hands-on with that.
The other thing that's in this article that is listed here is he will be developing or focused on developing new services and product at the Pokemon Company. So, like, it kind of also feels like the Miyamoto thing when he went from, like, purely managing the EAD team.
Well, this is basically the same title. Mr. Miyamoto's creative fellow.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's like the same like trajectory for these like powerhouse developers where it's like you now have this like huge toolkit of experience, but like do you want to broaden your sort of scope in the last, 10, 20, 30 years you might be continuing to do this before you retire, right? It's like this is like almost like the same trajectory that Mr. Miyamoto is taking. So maybe it was inspired or maybe I don't know. It feels like something that is being done now by these kinds of
Pokemon theme park. Here we go. Playing those. I mean, this is.
Oh my god! I would totally want to go to a Pokemon theme park.
Well, this is what's crazy. Is like Pokemon. I mean, you could argue is the biggest like entertainment property
ever
in the world.
In the world, yeah.
And yet, there's still so much they haven't done. Like, there is not a Pokemon theme park.
Why not?
I don't know.
We should do that.
I mean, that's what makes this like intriguing.
Yes, do a Pokemon theme park.
I mean, even though they do a lot, they're very focused on that, and there's way more they could branch out to.
Yes, we should do that.
Yeah.
Be amazing.
We?
No, they.
Special consultant? You and I?
I can make him curry while he thinks about this. Seems to like that. So
live-in chef
you can be,
at the Pokemon
you
Company?
can be a character. You can be the professor character. You know, Disney has like...
Face capture? Yeah.
No, you can... No. Like, at the theme park, Disney has like...
Oh, that's...
the character.
That's lame.
You can, the little kids will come take pictures with you.
I went from being the inspiration to now I'm just like wearing a costume in the park.
You can ride on the parade.
I don't want to do that.
Why not?
All right, we gotta move on. Nintendo confirms it will not attend Gamescom.
Uh-oh.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
In the way it was worded, this was the statement. I'm just going to read this. Gamescom is a central event in the event calendar for Nintendo. This year, however, after careful consideration, we decided not to participate in Cologne.
Yes.
Instead, players can try out games for Nintendo Switch as part of numerous Germany-wide events. Previously firmly planned events included roadshows with our Airstreamer and our Bully? What is that? I don't know. For example, at locations, blah, blah, blah. For the Japan and video game fans, we have dedicated to participate in this event in Frankfurt, as well as this other event in Dusseldorf. Further tour stops and promotions are planned. So it's not like the idea is we're not doing events.
Yeah.
We're just doing these smaller events and
We're doing our
events.
own events, is what it's basically saying.
Well, I mean, Dokami in Dusseldorf is not a Nintendo event.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's like we're doing our own schedule.
Right. So it's like, well, what's
preventing you from doing
what is the
Gamescom
reason
then?
for pulling out of this major event? I mean, it could have just been
Timing?
a situation where it's like, we don't usually make big announcements at Gamescom, and it's a huge event. Maybe it's just not worth the headache. I mean, it would
But
be...
why can't they just bring the smaller experience to Gamescom?
It would be unlike them. I don't know. That's why there was something... I felt like I was missing a part of this story to help me really understand why this event they did not do, but they're still going to do these smaller ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gamescom is the one big event I never went to.
I know, me neither.
And I don't feel super bad about it, I have to say.
I want to go. I love Germany.
You always hear even Tokyo Game Show being as packed, like this is the most physically oppressive show to go to.
Okay,
and there's people just smoking all around you.
Oh, no.
And it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm down for this.
Okay. Cologne is a
In
beautiful
the middle
place.
of summer in Cologne.
Okay, all right. Fair.
Maybe I'll pack some cologne to go to Cologne.
You gotta pack a lot of deodorant.
That's just spraying the space around me.
You can be in a bubble.
Yeah.
Like some sort of hamster bubble.
Right. But yeah, we'll see if... I mean, Nintendo does not really do Tokyo Game Show, so there's not a parallel there.
Right. PAX. Here.
Yeah, I mean, the feeling I got was Nintendo of America wanted to get back to doing events.
That's what
so it's not
that's
like
the feeling
it's
I
not
got,
like there's
too.
some big corporate
that events team
mandate
is itching to
of
get back to it.
we're not doing events. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
There's some. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. But this stood out to me.
Gamescom is in August, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So again, they're usually just coattailing the E3 announcements.
Yeah, it seems such a low lift.
Yeah. I saw some people getting well, this means there's no announcements at all this summer, so they're bailing out on these shows. That's going.
Okay, that's a little too far.
That's going a little far.
I mean, you might not get the news you want, but you get something.
All right. I'm going to do a little dance as I read this next headline, which is fans call on Sega to delay Sonic Frontier.
#, delay Sonic Frontiers. Trending briefly on Twitter this week.
Oh, the Sonic cycle moved fast this time. Oh,
the discourse was in your mentions, in your mentions.
People got mad at me for
did.
commenting on the Sonic
They
cycle.
really did.
But it's just don't get too excited until this game comes out.
The gameplay seemed to be a little rough. The CGI trailers were fine.
It's listen, I would love for a Sonic game to be good, but it has been so long. You can't get bait and switch like that just on an announcement.
Man.
You need to have some
quality control.
You just need to have some self-control to not get so hyped for something that you're going to need to see more.
This is funny, or not funny, but this is something that would happen very rarely on Nintendo, but when it does, it's a big deal, where the gameplay premiere has nearly 50,000 dislikes on YouTube.
Well, that's any Nintendo Switch Online video.
Yeah, but people would freak out. The combat footage has 19,000
Yeah.
dislikes.
Have you watched any of these videos?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
The premiere looked really... Like, it just didn't look the same.
it's very empty.
Yeah.
This open world.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was like a lot of it was Sonic climbing this tower. It was like, all right, there's some interesting.
The running on the water was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, there was some interesting ideas there, but it's like, how do you make a full game out of this? Or like, why was I climbing this tower in the first place? Like,
It's
it
like
felt
Breath of the Wild.
it felt a little tech demo-y. Where it's like,
Oh,
where's
yeah.
the actual game? I don't know.
Yeah, what is the actual game?
Right.
And the combat footage just it looked even worse to
Yeah.
me. But who knows?
So just don't get too worked up for these game announcements. I mean, that's just a good rule of thumb. Period.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't-
I mean, people are passionate about
Yeah.
stuff. I get that.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's the news.
It is. All right, on to our questions. As always, every question comes from our beautiful Patreon community.
Yes.
Thank you to our subscribers.
New month, and you guys, you are the ones that are keeping the show going.
That's right.
So, yeah, join us on Patreon, please. We'd love to have you.
All right, first question is from Chase Yama. This is actually something we were talking about before. In the spirit of E3 season, what single game or series from each company do you think can carry their E3? Similar to how Breath of the Wild solely had to carry Nintendo's E3 in 2016.
Great question from Chase Yama.
Well-
We just said for PlayStation
God
that
of
game is going to be God of War.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's probably more games than you would think.
I think so.
I think on the Nintendo side, you got Mario, you got Smash. Well, maybe those are the three that could
Zelda, Mario,
really,
Smash.
really do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely God of War.
broadest
I mean, I think
appeal.
like a Spider-Man.
Oh, I don't think a Spider-Man could carry it.
What? Why
A
not?
single Spider-Man game? You think it can carry all of Sony's E3?
We talked about the biggest entertainment property, Spider-Man, like right there.
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Okay.
Okay.
Xbox, though.
Halo.
Halo.
I mean, Xbox is the weird one because
Xbox is the weird one.
they don't
See?
have as many.
Like, recognizable.
I mean, if you had like an Elder Scrolls, like when
Elder Scrolls.
or like if they ever do more Fallouts, maybe
I think Elder Scrolls.
Elder
is pretty
Scrolls
good.
absolutely could. Starfield, I don't know. We don't know enough about it.
We don't know enough about that game. Yeah.
Maybe that's a maybe.
Yeah.
There's a few.
Gears? No.
Yeah, it's not Gears. Not as big as it used
Not
to be. I
as big
feel.
as it used to be. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
So there you go, Chase. Fair. Was there a time in Nintendo Minute where you guys had no idea what to do for that week's segment? We're running out of time and had to come up with something quick. If so, which episode was it? Well, we did talk about the time when the rug got pulled out from us when we were going to do the beautiful Hanafuda video
Oh, yeah. And then the
Clubhouse
people
games.
told us that we couldn't do it.
because they were going to make their own video and
That
then,
never
and then
came
they
out.
never did it.
Where's the video?
Thanks a lot.
But that time we just changed to other Clubhouse games.
This is what was great. Is this was not a problem at all if this happened.
Yeah.
Like if we had to come up with an idea like 30 minutes before, we could do it.
We could do it.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
we had stuff like, stuff like Would You Rather. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
you need to write some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't need days and days of prep.
We also did stuff that was like very easy lift, like responding to comment time.
Right.
That was always good. Rapid fire questions is always a
Yeah.
fast one.
Yeah.
Even like going back and playing like a retro game or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So we were always
we were good.
We always had like about a month ahead planned out.
Yeah, we did.
But
And we
if
also had
something-
like other ideas just like sitting there too.
Yeah, if something fell out last minute, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Bobby
Asian XD.
Please, yes.
Do you think Nintendo will make a push for VR this gen? Feels like there's a lot of potential with all the IPs, Mario, Zelda, Star Fox, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, all would be awesome games in VR. Well, there is Labo VR.
In Labo VR?
In Labo VR, you make your own goggles with like a cardboard. Yeah, I don't know if VR is like in Nintendo's like main top 3 things to develop kind of thing.
That's a nice way for you to say what I wanted to say, which is absolutely not. This is
Yeah.
this is a hard no, slam shut the door.
Yeah.
They've been pretty open of talking about like how having the headset on your face and being blocked out from the world is not really an experience they like.
Yeah.
And I could see something.
It is such like a barrier to enter
Yeah.
for somebody, for anybody.
Right.
Because you do have to like be okay in that environment.
Right.
XR, mixed reality, could be something that Nintendo gets into though.
Is that AR?
No, that's
What's
AR.
the difference?
XR is the thing that you played with when we were
that
at
was
GDC.
not AR?
No.
Oh.
You still wear the glasses, but it's like you can see the world around
Right.
you.
Something like that.
Mixed reality. That's like the new thing.
Mixed reality is XR?
XR.
Why isn't it MR?
I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, something like that would make sense because you can still see what's around you. Again, these social experiences that Nintendo wants to have happen around
Couch co-op
these
is
games,
like a big thing for
you
them.
You can't do that if you're just like blocked out with this headset.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm going to say that's a hard no.
Yeah.
I got corrected on this person's name.
Frulio.
Frulio is a great artist. We posted
Really
a piece of
amazing
Frulio's
artist.
art on our Instagram.
Very cool to have our art channel in Discord for our Patreon members. There's so much amazing artwork that you guys are so talented. I'm just like always floored by it.
When you were at Nintendo, what was it like transitioning to working from home at the height of the worldwide health crisis?
Oh, gosh.
What was one process that was made easier and one process that was made harder as a result of an online work environment?
Yeah, that took us all by a surprise a little bit for sure. Like, we talked about this a little bit, but like in the weeks leading up to this office closing down, for a long time, or like for like the first little bit, it was like, oh, this is just a 2-week thing.
Flatten the curve.
Got to flatten that curve. 2 weeks, and then we're gonna be back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So like, definitely, like a lot of us were caught like unawares. Like, you know, half my stuff was still in the office, like kind of like that kind of thing, you know. But the good thing is that being in the Redwood City location, we were pretty set up already for like we had Zoom already.
Well, it's interesting. Zoom was something that Nintendo rolled out very shortly before the pandemic.
It was like 2-3 months before the pandemic.
It was like, wow, good thing we had that, or we would have been in deep trouble.
The reason why is because we do work with our global team.
Right.
We work with our team in Redmond.
Right.
So there was already a need for video conferencing.
But it had felt like we had been going through, like, circling the drain for years. I'm like, well, we're trying this new video conferencing platform. It stinks, so we're trying another one. We're looking.
That's true.
And then we finally got Zoom. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Zoom saved us all, first of all. For, like, all the companies were saved by Zoom pretty much.
Oh, my gosh.
So the transition, I say, in terms of the day-to-day work, like, you know, the day-to-day work is really just being on calls for meetings and doing email, like writing emails, working on, like, strategy briefs. That is pretty easy to transition to a work-from-home environment, although maybe a little bit harder to focus for some people that had, like, a lot of distraction. I was good, but I know a lot of people had a hard time with that. And then, like, you didn't have, like, an office set up, like, what were you supposed to do, you know? The thing that was, like, really sad for me and, like, just tough to, like, try to figure out a way around was the Nintendo Minute stuff. Like, it was, like, scary couple months when you're like, oh, my gosh, we're not going back to the office. We can't do this ever again.
We were kind of holding out for that to happen.
Yeah, it was scary. Like, it was like, are we never going to be able to do this ever again? Thank God we hate Animal Crossing. But, like, yeah, you do have that moment when you're like, wait, how do I do this remotely?
Right.
You know? So that was one big thing that we thankfully figured out, but it took us a couple of months, and it was definitely something that was kind of scary for me.
It took a bit of pushing with our production teams too. It was like, let's just try some things. And if you look at what was on TV, like on like actual television.
You know, like the late night shows and stuff, where
like
people were just
doing a Zoom recording.
Yeah.
And it's like, people just want some entertainment.
Anything
It doesn't
will do.
have to be perfect.
Right.
So we kind of pushed it, like, let's just try this. Like,
the quality doesn't have to be perfect.
It's not going to be perfect. Let's all realize that. And it ended up being good. I'll say we actually learned, you know, to his question of, like, what became easier. Like, our whole approach to guests before was like, well, we got to fly this person out and we got to do it in person. And, like, who knows? The schedule going to match up for them to take, you know, a day or two to fly out. And, I mean, we ended up having all sorts of guests on just remotely that we would have never been able to have.
Yeah, and that was like a big inspiration from like what other entertainment people were doing too, you know?
Right.
Like Gary Whitta with his Animal Crossing show. Like we were super inspired by that to just try this kind of stuff.
So I did have to kind of...
We learned a lot though.
We had no other choice but to come up with some new ways. We had to do
it. But now we use some of these things for like what we do now. So that's great.
Yeah. Gar asks, We have seen over the last few years a more friendly relationship between Nintendo and Xbox, such as with Minecraft, Smash Brothers, and other games. Do you think Nintendo would ever have these kinds of collaborations with PlayStation, or is the relationship there not on friendly terms like it is with Xbox? So the first thing I'll say about this is I continue to be shocked that this Xbox-Nintendo relationship exists.
Continues to exist, yeah.
Yeah, like when I first started hear about these things of like, oh yeah, we're going to be, putting out this trailer where they're cross-playing. I'm like, well, is somebody going to be mad about that? Is that allowed?
Yeah. Or like when we do those things, there's like Xbox will reply on the Nintendo Twitter, blah, blah.
Like I was this is cool, but somebody's going to be mad because this is not what we do.
Yeah.
And nobody ever was.
It always like ended up being fine.
Yeah, but nobody ever told us like, all right, this is this relationship we have and we're going to support them and look for opportunities to support them.
No one ever said like why.
Right.
It's like this relationship is happening for this strategic reason.
Right.
So it was kind of like felt like really random.
The whole idea also of us even allowing crossplay seems so counter to the whole Nintendo philosophy.
Yeah.
And again, nobody ever explained why we're doing it.
Yeah.
Or like what got somebody over the hump of making that decision. Again, thank goodness they did because it's you should be doing it.
Yeah.
But it was
we
like
can all play nice in the sandbox.
This is a case where we're breaking our own rules.
Yeah.
Again, for good reasons, but I do not understand.
Yeah, Nintendo does that a lot sometimes though, where they make like really firm rules only to break them because someone on a whim wants to.
Right. As for PlayStation, no, I don't see that relationship being there.
Yeah.
So this is maybe me reading too much into it. I think there's something that comes from them both being Japanese companies.
I was just going to say.
It's like, oh, Xbox, they're that American company, like...
They do American things that are nutty
it's not the same. It's not the same.
We can like kind of play around with them a little bit.
Whereas like Nintendo and PlayStation is like, we're on the same turf, we're battling it out in Japan. Like we can't do anything with them.
I get the same sense too, actually.
Right. So it's honestly a bad reasoning.
It's very bad.
But I think there's something to that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
There's like a pride thing. Around it too.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Mad Dog 5981. Were you at all involved with My Nintendo or Club Nintendo that preceded it? Do you know why Nintendo transitioned from one model to the other?
I became a little friendly with the person who was overseeing Club Nintendo as it transitioned.
Yeah.
And he would kind of come chat with me about it from time to time. You know, the old Club Nintendo was mostly like physical goods that you would get.
You would have to like
and stuff was
mail it
really
out.
cool.
It was so cool.
And I think it just became like
difficult to produce.
And I think it just became a cost.
I think so, yeah.
You know, a cost issue of like, you're like, yeah, we're, these are our, very valued and most committed fans, and we want to do something for cool of them, but maybe this is a bit more than we feel comfortable doing right now.
Yeah. And also I think like with the expansion of like the store, getting people are now able to buy things online, or with our strategic initiatives team that does all those cool partnerships, it's like let's focus on that for the physical goods and do the more digital approach with the My Nintendo stuff.
It is funny that initially the transition was, all right, it's all digital stuff now. But now they do have some physical items.
Physical stuff too.
Like I got those.
Like those Mario 35 pins.
And I got those Animal Crossing coasters that are really cool.
Yeah, that's right.
So maybe this is the solution of like
both
some physical stuff that's not like over the top, but also some digital things that hopefully people find useful. I don't know. I don't find those super great, those little doodads.
Yeah. I mean, the My Nintendo stuff, I actually use it to like buy games. So it is useful in that way.
Gold coins, that's all we need.
We need the gold coin. Platinum points.
What's the difference between what's a platinum point and a gold point?
I have no idea.
I mean, gold points are money.
The platinum stuff is money too,
I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're getting confused with the Club Nintendo.
Oh, see, I don't
now I'm getting myself confused. We need to move on.
Moving on.
Mark Benioff, what is the latest you've ever stayed up at night playing a game? What game was it? And which part of it was keeping you up so late?
Oh man, I used to have a really bad habit of this where I would just stay up all night.
WoW?
I played WoW a lot. But in my last couple of weeks, months, maybe a couple weeks.
Recently?
With Elden Ring.
Oh.
I definitely had some late nights.
Really?
Yeah.
How late?
One night I definitely stayed up till like 1, 2 maybe. Not late enough for you?
Well, I mean, all time late nights.
Well, I definitely stayed up like all night playing WoW.
Right.
Like literally the whole night.
Yeah.
But my most recent game that really just got me like sucked in like that was Elden Ring for sure. Where I was like way past my normal. Like usually I play games after dinner, right? It's like 8 o'clock to like 10 o'clock, and then I get ready for bed because I'm old. So, so this was like very much like out of my current routine where I was like playing Elden Ring until 2 o'clock in the morning and like watching YouTube videos all night, you know? Like that was pretty, that's pretty different.
My answer is I did a start to finish co-op game of Halo 3.
Wow.
That was all night. And I started with, I think we had a full 4-player game, and it was like, well, let's just play this and we'll see, you know, how far we get. And we just kept going.
Were you in college?
No, this was like maybe like 10 years ago or something. Okay. It was like when Halo 3 came out. And it was just like, we're just rolling with this. Let's just keep it going. We went again, start to finish the whole game.
How long did it take you?
A night.
One night.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did the whole thing in one night.
Did you guys have like food delivered and like?
Well, this was online. We were doing it online too.
Oh wow.
Online co-op, yeah.
Wow.
We did not expect it to be this way, but it was just we're having such a good time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So,
I like that.
Again, I would not say Halo is one of my favorite franchises. So it's surprising to me that is
maybe because you kind of like saw that you could do it in one night.
I think so. Yeah, that's
like
definitely part of it.
There's an end in sight. Like obviously you can't play Elden Ring in one night.
We can't give up now.
Yeah, we're so close.
Yeah.
Right. I totally get that mentality. It's like we can't stop now. We're so close.
Right. But I had so many nights playing like Smash Brothers with my friends where it's like, oh, well the sun's coming up. I guess we better wrap it up.
Kind of those like multiplayer. Yeah. Diablo was another one that I did LAN parties for and played all night. Like
right.
Oh boy.
Brazil.
Brazil.
Hey, Kit and Krysta, something I've always wondered is why Nintendo has not implemented features such as achievements and built-in party chat like all other major gaming companies have done. Do you think there's a specific reasoning or mindset for this?
Well, we all know the terrible NSO voice chat.
The app?
The app was literally garbage, so there was that reason of not being bad at it. Just kidding. I think there's a couple of things here. One is that I think Nintendo, being this like family-friendly company, is very concerned about keeping the children safe, and having like party chat and other things like that is pretty dangerous.
I think I definitely put myself in this camp.
I don't want to talk to people.
I've really fallen off on voice chat. I was like, voice chat is actually bad.
It's not fun.
And like, unless it is truly like, if it was you and I like playing a game, it's like,
if
all right,
you
then
and
you
I
want
play
that.
a game, I literally will call you on the phone.
But just like, you know, with random people, like I think back to the early days of Xbox Live, where it was just like, hey, what's going on?
No, I hate it. I hate it.
This stinks.
As a woman, I would never go on voice chat. First of all, that's awful.
So
who was I playing with? I was playing Halo Infinite, and there was like I had my mic muted, but I was listening to the voice chat, and there are so many mean things.
So I'm actually not mad about the voice chat stuff, because again, there's so many solutions now to do voice chat. You think back to the original Xbox Live, there actually weren't things like that back then, so it had a purpose. Nowadays, like I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
But you know, we would always joke about like this mentality of like, the best way to get your idea shot down at Nintendo is to talk about how some other company was doing it.
Exactly.
And it would be like, that would be the immediate like...
Well, we're not like other companies. We are Blue Ocean.
We pride ourselves...
They want to zig, we want to zag.
...on being different. We're not Microsoft. We're not PlayStation. We don't do that. And it would just be like such an eye roll, because it's like, okay...
Fine.
Yes, you don't just want a copycat... But guess what? Some other people are doing some cool things that maybe you should be open to, and not just
it's like also things
shut
that
down.
are things that you immediately get that reaction with too, when it's like, this is just the way the society is going. This is the modernization of like our lives.
Hey, let's get on this internet.
Let's not like block that because you want to be quote unquote different.
Right.
Okay, like.
Yeah, but I think that's why, you know, going back to the voice app, it's like, well, nobody's done a dedicated voice app for games.
So bad.
It's like, well, I guess it's different, but it also stinks.
It also sucked.
So who's the joke on
Your
there?
other thing is about achievements.
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo is weird about achievements, too. It's like, oh, this is like kind of similar discussion to achievements. It's like, oh, what if we did like a leaderboard and posted it on social media?
Right.
Like we can highlight our
Yeah.
top players. And then they were like, no, we cannot elevate one player
Right.
above the other. Everyone equally has a chance to enjoy these games. You're like, having an achievement does not
Right.
like make it so you cannot enjoy the game, but sure.
Did you ever get deep into achievements? Achievement hunting?
Kind of a little bit.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I did too. I had a circle of friends.
I had a circle.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, we're buying this game specifically because it's an
see-
easy 1,000 gamer score.
Exactly.
The Avatar movie game.
Oh.
With like, I remember that being
I
like
think
the
Xbox
go-to.
was the main achievement hunter thing.
Well, it was the only one with achievements.
Well, PlayStation
they
has
had
the
trophies. I
trophies.
didn't care at all about trophies.
Okay, you
Yeah.
don't. I like the trophies too. I'm so competitive. Like, I would do anything to beat you. Pretty much.
Wow.
I'm talking about you specifically.
Step away from the X.
So we're like chop your hand off.
Do anything.
Let's see you make an achievement now.
See you fail.
I know. I'm like, I get like this like weird. I get a little red rage.
All right, we gotta move
Anyway.
on. Oh, well, speaking of red rage, Mikey asks, have you guys ever had a falling out over something stupid?
We were talking about this the other day. Like, have we ever gotten real?
I have one.
Oh.
Where you got legitimately mad at me.
I did?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I'm
this
surprised that
happening.
you've forgotten this.
Tell me anything.
This happened shortly before the Switch came out. You were hosting some big time executives, Mr. Koizumi and Mr. Takahashi.
Okay,
were
yeah.
in town, and
That's
you were
right.
you were doing stuff with them.
That's right.
This was like
remember
days.
this.
This was like I think a week
I was
or
already-
two.
I can tell that I was already stressed out.
This was a week
in
or
this
two.
moment.
Yes, I'm not mad at you for this reaction, but I do remember you being extremely angry at me. It's like maybe a week or two before the Switch came out. We got one system that we needed to do many things with, and we were about to do some Nintendo Minute for Zelda, and I was like, and I said, all right, I'm gonna take it home to just get to where we need to be. I'm gonna play
I
it for
remember
like
now.
30 minutes and just get it set. And you're like, okay, well, I need to hit the road with these guys
That's right.
at 9 o'clock.
That's
so
right.
make sure you're there by 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I got there right at like 8:45, and you were like having a conniption because it was like, it's 8. I've been here since 8:30. Where's the system? And I was like, you said 9 o'clock. Well, I'm here and I need to go, and we need to go right now. They're waiting. I was like, oh, okay, here you go. Bye. I was a
remember
little
this.
freaked out, but you were
Yeah.
upset.
I was really, yeah, I remember this now. I was really stressed out around that time. Like
That's why I'm not holding it
it's like
against
a
you.
full schedule, you know.
Yes.
And like the worst thing is for you to show up and they're already like in the car service.
Right, they're like ready to go.
And waiting
Yeah.
for you. I think they were actually. They were not. And okay. Sometimes those executives, they're very nice,
Yeah.
but their time is very valuable.
Right.
So I can tell when they get a little peeved if
Sure.
they're kept waiting.
Yeah.
So yes. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember one time you got mad at me.
Really?
But it was like you had like other reasons, but it was when we were in New York.
Other
You had
reasons.
reasons. We were in New York, and I was doing it was actually the time when we shot that video with Mr. Masuda and Mr. Omori.
Oh, yeah.
We're playing Pokemon Let's Go,
Right.
remember?
Right.
And I was doing like a tech check earlier that day. And
Yeah.
you had said, let's meet at Central Park
Right.
at like this time. Because I told you I'd be done at like
Right.
whatever
We had
time.
a break.
Yeah,
Right.
let's meet. We'll go. We can play Pokemon Go.
We'll play
at the
Pokemon
park.
Go in Central Park.
It's fun.
Sounds fun.
And then we had to we had like a break in the middle of the day, but then later that day we had to
Right.
do something else. So
Right.
it was like sort of a limited time.
Right.
And I think I was like an hour late.
You were
And
very
I
late.
also told you to go to the wrong place,
Right.
and you were upset.
But it was just like, oh, now it's going to be another 10 minutes. No, I need another 10 minutes. It was just like this progressive. And I was like, what am I even doing?
I was walking down the street
Right.
and like I was like running down the street.
No, you weren't.
I was!
You didn't care. That's why I got mad.
I didn't care.
I was like, we're going to have a fun time playing Pokemon Go. And you get stood up.
You got stood up by me. You got like you don't like
Big
it when
time.
you don't like it when I'm late, but I was
I
like
got
really
big
late
time.
that time. It wasn't like 10 minutes. It was like an hour. I was an hour late, so I felt kind of bad. That's all. Oh, now you've made us mad, Mikey.
Pat, okay, this is good. This will clear the air. Pat has not a question, but a comment. I apologize for being late for this recommendation compared to when it was discussed on the show, but I think Krysta should add something to her list of Zelda game skills.
Yes.
Throwing a boomerang.
Yes.
Largely due to playing video games when I was a kid, I always thought boomerangs were so cool. And as an adult, I realized there was nothing preventing me from buying one and learning how to throw it. It's challenging but fun.
Have you hurt yourself, Pat, like throwing it, or are there other people? How do you make it come back?
See, I put this in the grappling hook category where it's like, is this really how this works? Is this a real item?
Does it really come back?
Like, I know that a boomerang is a real thing, and but it can't be just like it is in a game. I need to get on some boomerang YouTube channels and see what's going on.
This is a good one though. I would love to try.
It seems hard to catch because like spinning so crazy.
It'll hurt you.
It'll, like break your hand off.
Yeah. What if you don't catch and hit you in the
hit
face?
the face.
That would be scary.
Pat, teach us the ways.
Exactly.
Tech magic. When it comes to showing playable demos for upcoming games at events like E3 and stuff, Nintendo's all over the place for being able to record gameplay. From my experience playing the original Super Mario Maker at Best Buy, I was instructed not to zoom in while recording. Other examples are having to zoom in and out or not being able to record anything at all. What's the reasoning for this? I'm laughing because this is a ridiculous thing we had to deal with.
It was so ridiculous. And especially because when we were doing like early days, when we were more on the PR side and we had to shepherd like media around, it was always like, please don't zoom in on the screen, blah, blah, blah. But okay, Nintendo's reasoning is this. They would like everything that exists on the internet that has the game to be their stuff because they're the only ones that have the capability of showcasing the game in its best possible light. And like their thinking was always like if anyone else, like you at Best Buy or a media person or a content creator, like if you guys shot your own footage or zoomed in on the screen, someone's going to think that that's actual game footage, and then that's going to prevent them from buying the game.
You might make the game look bad.
It is literally the most ridiculous thing ever, and like how on their high horse can they be?
That's a fine mentality if you're like, okay, and because of that, we're not going to do this Best Buy event. We're going to keep this game behind closed doors forever.
It's pristine forever.
Don't pretend that you can enforce that out in public. Literally in public.
And don't pretend you can enforce that with this great place that we call the internet. And people are going to do things like rip the video off.
Even in Japan, like I've been to Tokyo Game Show where like that's much more of a thing, and there are signs everywhere. It's like don't take pictures. People are still taking pictures.
Exactly, because you're not going to be able to enforce it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was one of the jobs going into E3 was the filming guidelines.
The filming guidelines.
Which is you had to do that.
I had to do that a couple years.
Absolutely
in a row.
one of the worst jobs.
Worst jobs ever.
Yeah.
And you had to get those approved by like every developer.
Because, again, it's one of those things where I don't think people really understand what you were trying to do. Yeah. Or like, why would somebody... We're letting people film a video game? That's madness.
Like, I'm like, what do you think people are doing here?
It's like, oh, we are detached from reality right now.
Yeah.
We have spun off into another galaxy.
Yeah, we have been we've been in a cave developing a game for like the last 3 years, and we have no idea what the world is like now. But no, that was one of the things that I had to do like on site. I would run around to every developer and be like, are you cool with these guidelines? Some of them were and some of them were not.
Truly ridiculous.
Truly.
Yoshiller, the one and only. Yoshiller has a question. This is a good one. In the spirit of E3, I wanted to ask an E3 related question. Do either of you recall a time at E3 in which someone, quote, snuck into an event they weren't supposed to?
Yes.
For example, did someone ever sneak into the Nintendo VIP section or one of Nintendo's press conferences? Or did any of you guys wander off and sneak into another booth?
We'd never do such a thing.
Well, I think we should start off by saying we actually have a Patreon subscriber who is notorious for doing just this.
Who?
Paul Gale of the Paul Gale Network.
Oh, Paul Gale, you are
legendary.
Public enemy. Just kidding.
We would have like actual meetings because it was like Paul Gale seems to be able to get through our security and ends up in our VIP section every year. Mm-hmm. And what are the weak points that is allowed? We need to strengthen these weak points so that Paul Gale doesn't find a way in.
Why was the targeting on Paul Gale? Paul Gale is like the nicest person
Paul
in the
Gale
world.
is secretly a ninja, I think is the takeaway here.
Paul Gale's also like jacked. So he would totally be able to like
the security just backed down.
Fight the security guys.
Like, this is, it's not going to go well if I try and tell him no.
But the thing with Paul Paul Gale too. Is like he was just a very nice, sweet guy.
Right.
That was.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
We wasted actual time having this conversation.
We did.
Paul Gale is a menace and needs to be stopped. It's like, what?
It's like you have the things that we wasted our time on: filming guidelines and stopping Paul Gale. Great job.
The internet, fighting the internet.
Fighting the internet, yes.
Stopping the internet.
Yeah,
we need
2
to stop
a.m. We got to stop the internet. We got to stop Paul Gale. We got to stop the filming.
Goodness.
Yeah. Good
And then there was another moment. This
That
is
was a good
also
one.
this is also amazing. So we would do these end of day meetings, which we talked about in our last episode.
Mm-hmm.
There was one meeting. We probably had like 50 people in the meeting.
Yeah, these are done in the LACC.
And it was just getting started. And somebody who we used to work with spoke up and said, "Excuse me, I think there's somebody here who isn't supposed to be here."
No, he pointed it directly at the person that wasn't supposed to be there.
He said, "Who are you and why are you here?"
And then that
and the
person
guy
was like, "I have no
"Well."
idea."
It was very fishy.
Yeah.
Why he was there. But he seemed just like tongue-tied.
He also didn't speak English very well. I think
Right.
he was like French or something.
So he had wandered into this meeting.
The thing, though, that was amazing about that is that there's like 50 to 60 people there, and there are people from other regions that you are not seeing their face every day.
You would, yeah.
So in passing, you might not be able to
Like, oh, this is
tell.
the guy from
Like
Nintendo Denmark.
Nintendo
Cool.
Denmark.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But this person was like eagle eye. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like, dang,
Good
that's
on him for spotting that.
impressive. We were about to go into some secret stuff. So,
It's amazing how, I mean, there's secure. I mean, you have to like show your credential, be on a list to get through that. I have no idea how this happened, but it was a real
There was
like
a real flaw in the
all-timer like
system.
what moment?
Flaw in the system.
Yeah, only at the end of a day at E3 could that
When
happen.
people are tired.
I will
So
save this
great.
story for another day. I snuck into early in my career some of the legendary PlayStation E3 parties, which were like a major production.
But
back
I
then.
don't think they minded you sneaking in.
Oh, they did.
Oh.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
It was like, this is attempt 9 out of 10 to get into this.
Really?
Yes. I'll tell that
So
story
desperate.
later. Yeah.
I don't think I need to sneak into anything.
I was lame then.
The Natrix.
Yes.
Heyo! What is your favorite non-video game music to listen to? Do you have any favorite albums / songs?
Well, do you?
I've listened to so much like...
This came up in a bonus Q&A, and you seemed
Yeah.
stumped. You seemed unable to answer
I
this
don't
question.
have like a favorite band.
Just
or
say
whatever.
something.
I don't know.
What are you listening to right now?
I am
What do you like right now?
to the new Harry Styles album, actually.
Great.
And it's actually very good.
Good. There
Yeah,
you go. See, that
very
wasn't so
good.
hard.
But I also like very broad musical taste.
Well, you don't need to prove yourself.
I'm just
It's
saying.
it's just a question. A favorite album or song. There you go. Harry Styles.
I like the song for a sushi restaurant song.
Okay. Good.
It's a good song.
There you go. See, it's not
What are
that
you
hard.
listening to?
See,
You're going back to Kiss?
people want to know what is favorite band.
There we go.
I love Kiss, the band from the 70s, the guys in the makeup. Believe it or not, I really love them. I wasn't around in the 70s, but there's something about the music that I just like. It's more than just the look. It's actually the music.
Okay.
People
you say
say-
it's a feel good.
It is feel-good music. People say they stink. I had a conversation with Dan Reichert's getting mentioned again.
Ah.
He also likes like classic rock, and I was talking to him once. I said, "You should try Kiss." And I gave him all these recommendations of like, "Oh, try this album. Start with this one, then go to that one." And he said, "Okay, cool. I'll do that." And then he was on the Giant Bombcast like shortly after that, and he was like, "Yeah, Kid Ellis told me to listen to some Kiss. I did that. Boy, do they suck!" And it was just like it was like 15 minutes of clowning on me for recommending Kiss.
How could you?
I don't know. I'll still
steered-
recommend it. I don't care.
Steered him wrong.
I don't have any hard feelings towards that, but
All right.
Dan Reichert, you made a mistake.
Maybe he needs to give it more time.
I don't know what to say.
I
All
like
right?
Kiss.
It's good. See?
I don't have anything. I don't love them
I've
the way that
forced
you
I've
love them.
forced you to listen to it.
I think the music is like fun though. It's like very like
Right.
campy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Final
Okay.
question.
Jason
Life
E.
advice from Jason E. Considering that I'm graduating from high school
Oh,
this
you're a
month
baby.
and heading to university in the future, I was wondering if there's some advice you could offer.
Well, I would say that you should just. This is Reggie's advice. So I'm just going to
Oh.
steal it. You just don't get locked into like the one thing.
Yes.
You know, broaden your perspective and horizons. Just like make yourself a sponge and
Mm-hmm.
just like absorb things from places and people that you normally would not be able to, not get the chance to.
Yeah.
And don't get locked into like one path or like one goal, because opportunities could present themselves to you and you want to be open to them.
Yeah, I think, this is the time where like maybe leading up to college, your life didn't always feel like your life. It was a lot of like, oh, well, my parents, want me to do this, or they're asking me to do this, or I wasn't able to do this, where it's like, this is like where it kind of flips and it does become like you more in control of your life. So definitely take advantage of, if there's something you weren't able to do up to that point, or something that you just didn't feel was possible. Hopefully that becomes possible in college, and kind of look at it from that viewpoint as kind of a way to reevaluate, what you're into and what you like and
what's important to you.
Yeah,
exactly. And congratulations on graduating high school. That's a big accomplishment, and best of luck for your university in the future.
All
Yay,
right.
that's the end.
Here we go.
The graduation
The One Up
services.
Club member shout outs.
Here we go.
It's a new month. There's a lot of new names here.
Oh, no. You're going to
There's some
continue
new
going
ones.
First.
All right.
Here we go. Let's do it.
Drum roll, please. Aaron Burgundy.
Aaron Hash.
Adam Edwards.
Jean Malari.
Alatora 05.
Ale Alejandro.
Alexandra Pratt.
Angela Bycroft.
Bailey Meyer.
Ben Eichhorn.
Bettina Tsang.
Brad SF56.
Brian Humphreys.
Chancellor Fairley.
Christopher Lay.
Captain Alex.
Daniel Cold.
Daniel Valencia.
Dachshund.
David Zeck.
Doo-doo Face.
Douglas Chomix.
Drew Grant.
Oh no. Ducatista.
Dino Punch.
Eigenverse.
Elite Peach.
Imad Renfro.
Espars 50.
Furbound.
Gar.
Garrett Hallfish.
Handheld Gamer.
Handsome Warrior.
Ian Shea.
Israel Izzy.
Jay Rando.
Jackie Z.
Jason E.
JK99.
JBJ.
Jeff Yoakum.
Jeffrey Hernandez.
Jesse Hernandez.
Jobert.
John Responte.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Collette.
Jordan Hemmerly.
Jordy Kirk.
Joshua Clements.
Juan.
Just Camtro.
Kai Commercio.
Kawa 2796. Kevin Delane.
K Madman TV.
Kyle Kretzer.
Kyler Nelson.
Lego My Frago.
Link
Master.
Luca Mania.
Lucas Pico.
Luis
Calcano.
Mamu.
Mark Schlasner.
Marky Man 64.
Maru Mayhem.
Matt McCarthy.
Matthew Rawald.
Megan.
Michael Cravens.
Michael J. File.
Michael Mazer.
Mike Chin.
Mikey.
Murph.
Mytran.
Nod Narb.
Oh Me Oh My.
Parker Anderson.
Patreon user.
Paul Gale Network.
Piano Psychopath.
Pirate TCG Grudges Forever.
Prince Charmless.
PS Wii.
Reaver.
Rad State of Mind.
Rain Tech.
Raphael.
Ray Charon.
Uh-oh.
This is a tough one.
Ryuji Utsuho Oku.
RJ Kern.
Rob Osborne.
Rocks.
Roy Eshke.
Ryan Hayes 521.
Ryan Netza.
Sam Nealand.
Scott LaRock.
Safazon.
Shinbu.
Slowbro.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citron.
Switching it up.
The Don Rob.
The Shark Among Men.
Thomas Alvarez.
Troopage.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tyler Geis.
VGM Life.
Video Game Stupid.
Beautiful Dandy.
Virtual Bot.
What's Up Flapjack.
Wicked Davy.
Will Ernst.
Zudaverf.
And Zen.
Wow, we have a Z now.
Zudaverf no longer at the end.
The end, yeah. Okay, I'm so sorry. Ray Uji, please tell me how to pronounce your name. Hopefully
it's close.
was able to sound it out.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to our new One Up Club
That's
members.
right.
We're so happy to see you here. And look forward to a great month. And of course, at the end of the month, we'll do our meetups.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see some of you sort of in person.
That's right.
It'll be fun.
New faces.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. What a show.
Woo.
What a week. I love June. It is so much fun, especially now that I don't have to actually work on these kinds of things.
Oh.
Like, I'm not like inside. I don't have to deal with the stress. Now
I
I'm so free to just enjoy all the announcements and get excited for all the cool games coming out and just be like part of it, part of the summoning circle with all of you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I did not realize how happy I am to be here. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So, yes, look forward to a great week of content from us. And also, we'll be, again, vlogging our experience at Summer Game Fest Playdays. So we're looking forward to sharing that with you guys in the coming weeks. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the Kit and Krysta YouTube channel, which is the channel you're watching this right now. Don't forget that it's a new month, so now is better time than ever to jump into our Patreon. And again, you guys are keeping this show going, so thank you for all your support. We'll put the Patreon link right here. It's patreon.com/KitandKrysta. And follow us on all our social channels. Right here.
All of them.
All of them. For shirtless Kit in a kimono.
Don't skimp. Shirtless.
Well, deep open shirt Kit
maybe
in
a
a
bit
kimono.
much.
Deep V.
You know the reason why? I'll explain why. So that's a tuxedo shirt where you're meant to wear it with like those things that come with cufflinks, those like actual buttons that you insert.
What?
The bottom is real buttons. I couldn't find those buttons, so I was like, well, this is how I'm wearing this.
That's how that kind of shirt works. And also, you own a tuxedo? What?
You never know when you're going to need it.
I have no words.
You don't know what I do. You don't need to know what I do in my free time.
You're a double agent.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to
James
stop.
Bond.
We have to stop. Okay, we'll see you guys very soon.
Bye.
Bye.